What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Q and Colb. I've had a great weekend. I don't know about y'all, but how's everything been for you, Colb? I see you it looked like you was stressed out. You was tweeting about the Guardians at the same time that the Lakers were playing. I didn't even know they let the Guardians play that late.
Yeah, man. I wish I never would have tuned in. Honestly, I wish I never would have watched that onslaught that we got last night. But the Lakers won, so at least that was fun.
Yes, indeed. Also, some fun stuff happened over the weekend at owners meeting, which gave us some interesting quotes. It's not really news, right? We've been saying this was the case. Remember, we used to catch flack for this. Do you remember how far, like back in the day, when we would be like after the Commanders game, we were like, "Yeah, the Watson era is done. I don't know why anybody's pretending like this is going to continue much longer." And honestly, we were later to this than some people were, and like giving it more time. And I remember we came to that conclusion. We got a lot of flack in the comment section from people about giving up on it already. I'm like, all right, man, like what you want me to do? Like he not hitting basic concepts at this point. So it's a wrap. But it's funny how this has come out, right? Where first you started hearing it from the players, where the players are like, yeah, we just got to figure out a quarterback, right? And then Andrew Berry does that press conference where he's like, we're going to have to rework the quarterback position. We're like, oh, okay. It looks like from front office head coach level, they seem to be out on this whole thing. And then Jimmy Haslam this week says, well, we traded for Watson. It was a swing and a miss. I've never heard somebody say that while the dude is technically on the roster.
They said that Deshaun posted like a workout video around the same time that Jimmy's comments became public. And I just think that's so funny.
Loudly letting us know there is no plan to bring this dude back whatsoever as the starting quarterback. And honestly, that was obviously the case.
Can we be honest? About something?
Yeah.
I think, and I want to give the majority of the fan base credit, because the overwhelming majority of people who paid attention to this at all knew that he was never going to play again for the Cleveland Browns after last season, after he got hurt. Like the vast majority, I'm talking like 98%, 97% of people, they knew he wasn't going to play again. It was just a very minute amount of people who thought he was still going to play. Are you frozen? What Q? What is going on? What is going on? You're just stuck. Uh-oh. Is it me? Is it me?
I don't know. I don't think it's you. He just disappeared all of a sudden.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with Q. I don't know what's going on with Q. We were supposed to talk about the Browns all day, and then okay, here we go.
We got some breaking news in the private chat. We're gonna keep that under wraps.
We got breaking news in the private chat.
Yes, he says something about the Flack man, but I ain't trying to hear that BS. But while Q gets his stuff together, you were saying about the whole Watson situation. We all knew the brother was gone after that Washington game. That game, I literally had a migraine after watching that game. The fact that he couldn't hit on those concepts, I'm like, get that brother out of here. Bro.
Real quick. Look at the chat real quick. Look at the chat. Look at the chat.
Fuck y'all laughing at?
Look at the chat real quick. Look at the chat. You'll see what we laughing
at. Did I get an unfortunate freeze frame?
Oh man, it was bad. It was bad. Somebody said you was tooting that thing.
I was what?
Somebody said she was tooting that thing up. It's crazy. Ooh, chat is hilarious. Chat is funny.
All right. Where were we at?
We was having a conversation about the Browns. I low-key forgot what we was even talking about.
We were talking about Deshaun Watson.
Okay, yeah. I was saying that like there was a very minute amount of people who thought that he was still going to be the quarterback. Or he's still going to play. Like, we got to be real about that. Like,
well, it was also coming from like two different places. Whereas like there were people who like legitimately wanted the Watson thing to continue, which like the smallest group of folk that wanted that to happen, I would say, of like the pie of people out there. There were a lot of people who cynically thought the Browns would be too stupid to move on. Right. Like that's more or less what I'm thinking. Like people were like, oh, well, the Browns, they're obviously going to stick with him. They paid him. Right. Because that was a perspective that was on national TV. But that's the thing is like once he popped that Achilles, even if you had a cynical view of this, I don't know how it maintained to that. But that was something that I heard people, with national audiences say the Browns are going to stick with Deshaun until that contract's up. But
there was no way. There was no way they were going to do that, dog.
Yeah.
Like it was obvious to anybody who was paying any attention, like any attention at all. They were not going to keep. They're not going to keep doing this. But the fact that Jimmy Haslam came out and called him a swing and a miss is like insane.
Yeah, you usually don't get that until like 10 years after the fact.
Like he took accountability for that. The fact that he like owned it too was really interesting to me.
The last month has made me be in a weird place from like Jimmy's operating like what we would call a quote unquote good owner to do, in a way that good owners operate, which is I'm not going to get in between Myles Garrett and the organization on this. I'm going to let Andrew Berry handle this. You're not going to be able to talk to me. Right. That was a big thing with like Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick, where it was like, no, Robert's not going to let you get around Bill. And that was praised as like why they could build the dynasty and all that shit. But that's what Jimmy did there. And then, just basically coming out and saying, look, man, nobody's getting fired because of this Deshaun Watson thing, because I kind of was the one that made it happen. And that's why I kind of fired myself, right, from being able to make these decisions, which is like probably the best way you can rebound structurally from this whole thing. Because the worst thing that could have happened is if the Browns were like, we got to correct this mistake, and they start reaching for shit to try to fix the quarterback position. Like 1 year of not having the greatest quarterback room on earth is better than putting yourself in another hole that takes 4 or 5 years to dig yourself out of. Actually, Houston Texans, after they lost to Deshaun Watson, they could have easily dug themselves back into this hole by drafting Kenny Pickett, right? Which would not have been advised in the top 5 of that draft, but people thought they should do it because they needed a quarterback. Or going out and trying to make a big trade for somebody else's quarterback. They said, no, it ain't here. We're going to wait. And then they got CJ Stroud. They had to go through a year of goofy white boys playing quarterback for them, but they lived, right? And now they're doing better than ever. And Jimmy's comments seem to be along those lines of like, hey, look, man, we're going to take our time with fixing this quarterback position, which is the proper approach. Can't just get big eyes and be like, oh, let's go, just go get him. He's a quarterback. It's just stupid. That's dumb, right? So,
wait, Q, you're saying that everybody's not going to get fired if they don't take a quarterback at 2 this draft. Everybody's jobs aren't on the line.
I got that theory, and then like Cole, can I take it a step further? Why in the world is drafting a quarterback presented as a win now strategy?
Oh, well, I've been saying this for months. I've been saying this for months, dog.
Because like, there's nothing win now about drafting a quarterback in the top 5.
Do you know why people think
nothing win now?
Do you know why people think that is? Because they saw Jaden Daniels do it, and they saw CJ Stroud win a bunch of games, right? And Bo Nix, I guess. and win a bunch of games right
Bo
away.
Nix had like a 1-game improvement over what Denver did last year. I don't think it's the same thing, right? Because
they won with him. They won with him. Can't take it away.
They have not won with him. You could have said the same thing with Mac Jones after 1 year with him. And now Mac Jones is the worst backup in the NFL.
I'm about to say Mac Jones too, I guess. You can say Mac Jones too. But that's that's such an outlier to what normally happens when you take a quarterback top 5 and they have to play right away.
Yeah, it's such an outlier to like I get why people are like dunking on Caleb Williams, but like the amount of people dunking on him for like a rookie year that wasn't that bad. I'm like, wow, you guys just think people are just gonna walk in and make the fucking Pro Bowl at quarterback? Like people are doing that shit on Drake. I heard somebody consider whether Drake May should even start next year.
Send him to Cleveland, please. Please.
Yeah, because they want to play. They want to play the 45-year-old second-year player, right? At quarter, Joe Milton, everybody's favorite 40-year-old. They want to play him now instead of Drake May.
I don't get the Joe Milton hype, bro.
Hey, Joe Milton like 25,
26. He's the same age as Tyler Shuck.
Okay.
26, turn on 27. Cole, he about to hit it. He the same age Deshaun Watson was when he got traded here. Okay. Yeah, I don't get that because look, I'm gonna tell you right now, you draft Shedeur Sanders, there's not a guarantee you're gonna win that many games in year 1. And honestly, there's more of a risk of you getting fired because if you draft the quarterback at 2, what's ownership gonna do if that dude don't look good in year 1? Oh fuck, we gotta fire everybody to get it right with this number 2 pick, the guy that we invested this number 2 pick in. If Abdul Carter has like 8 sacks instead of 12 his rookie year, nobody get fired because of that, dog. They could be like, oh, this is a rookie. Like the expectations are not that ridiculous for him in year 1, and they aren't seen as like this drastic and this important. So I don't the logic that people have used to justify drafting a quarterback is precisely a huge part of the reason why I think it's a dumb idea, because the logic behind it from the people who really want to do it is bad. From people who usually don't have bad logic about
it's so bad. It's literally bad. Like when I see these takes, I just want to throw my phone at the wall. Like, do you understand how dumb you sound? And I saw this tweet. I think Colb retweeted too. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they were saying, oh, CJ Stroud, Jane Daniels, it doesn't matter if it's the perfect prospect. You got to get out a quarterback. And I'm like, Jane Daniels and CJ Stroud are far better prospects than Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. And the logic behind that is that those guys were highly touted coming out of their respective classes. Cam Ward is QB1 in a weak class. Shedeur is QB2, either QB3 in this class, whether it's your opinion or not. And at least he's a late first rounder, early second. Yeah, but when I say that, it's a bad take. Like, brother, I watched the film and watched the breakdowns.
Well, it's because people are so used to hearing these names be at the top of the draft that you just start to associate them with that value, but they're not what usually goes on at 2. And like another thing, people go, well, CJ Stroud was a number 2 overall pick. Jaden Daniels was a number 2 overall, as if the number 2 overall pick has a magic mystical fucking quality about it. It's just going to upgrade anybody into being that person. It's not the number 2 overall pick did not make CJ Stroud. Jaden Daniels was Jaden Daniels before he was selected number 2. He could have went 2, 3, 4, 40. He would have still been Jaden Daniels, right? Like it wouldn't have mattered at the end of the day. And that's like so much of this logic is like, well, you have the number 2 overall pick. You got to take a quarterback. What the fuck? No, you absolutely do not. If there's not a quarterback there that's worth taking, history tells you if you reach for a quarterback in the top 5, it usually does not work out and usually ends up with you thinking, man, I wish we would have took this quarterback a year later or whatever the fuck ends up happening, right? You can't rush into this, right? You need to fix your quarterback situation. It's obvious. Also, the assumption that like if you don't answer any problem on offense with that first pick, that you're just ignoring the problem and you're just going to allow this offense to be terrible and all this other stuff. It's like, hey, man, it's one pick. It's one move in a larger tapestry that is the offseason. Like things can be developed. But that's the main thing that surprised me, and it shouldn't. Right. But the amount to where people I usually find to be reasonable have gone to unreasonable lengths just to justify drafting a quarterback, not because it makes sense, but because they want to draft a quarterback. They want to get excited about a quarterback again.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
And in order to justify that, they are willing to do stuff like act like Travis Hunter's a terrible prospect, or suggest that Abdul Carter is actually a bad prospect, despite everything that our eyes are telling us about Abdul Carter, right? I think I saw y'all boy, the Buffalo Man, on Twitter talking about how he like Mike Green.
How he gotta be our boy. How he gotta be our boy.
Abdul.
Listen, the Mike Green stuff.
Even though he was the biggest, he's undersized guy, and they're the same fucking size.
He said, I think he had one tweet. He said, "Please tell me the drop off between." I don't know if this is the right tweet or not, but please tell me the drop off between Abdul Carter and Mike Green. I'm like, well, Abdul Carter is really good at football. Mike Green's good at football. He just ain't Abdul Carter.
Yeah.
Yeah, one played in the Big Ten, the other played in what conference in Marshall?
The Sun Belt. He played in the Sun Belt.
Sun Belt, you know, the second worst conference in college football. Well, no, they're better than Conference USA. Yeah, there's MAC. MAC's the worst. MAC might as well be in the FCS, and it wouldn't even be a good FCS conference. No disrespect to the MAC, no disrespect to yo alma mater. Then you have Conference USA, which is pretty bad. And then I think the Sun Belt right there, right? Are they? They're above. They're below. They're certainly below the Mountain West.
Yeah.
They're below the American.
Yes.
Is there anything else I'm missing?
You got the Mountain. You said Sun Belt, Mountain West, Conference USA.
Yeah, that's about all. That's all the Group of Five.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, like I would have the Missouri Valley.
I think
tied. Or
what about the American
than the MAC?
What about the American Conference?
The American, I think the Mountain West is better, but the Mountain West just got rated by the Pac-12. Pac-12? Were we throwing the Pac-12 in here? Right, the Pac-12, Mountain West. I'm just combining them. That's probably the best Group of Five conference.
Mountain 12.
Then you get the American.
I don't know.
No, the Mountain 12 is much better. Like that.
Regardless.
Well, I'm giving them ideas. So if they want to change their conference, make it the Mountain 12. I'll let me.
Right, Mike Green not as good as Abdul Carter. And that's not even getting to like the off the field stuff with Mike Green. Like, it's not a comparison. It's never been a comparison.
It's always fascinating to see how much not wanting to be wrong just breaks people on Twitter. Like, it's like, oh well, I put my pole in the ground on this take, right? And I went so hard that I can't go back. And then you get to a place where you're like, Mike Green is so much better than Abdul Carter. And it reminds me, you remember Derek Barnett?
Yep.
Curtis, you remember Derek Barnett? Tennessee pass rusher. Mm-hmm. You remember 2017, the narratives that were coming out when it comes to Derek Barnett and Myles Garrett? They were like, well, Derek has a better motor and he's more developed in his passing game and he's a more polished pass rusher, so he's probably going to be better than Myles. That was a Booger McFarland take. Had that man at the draft on coverage talking about how Myles not better than Derek Barnett, who turned into a decent role player. This is what happens every year, dog. People put their fucking pole in the sand and they can't move off of it, and it just makes them get on board with stuff that's like, come on, your eyes aren't possibly telling you this. Nobody I know that has any credibility in the draft community would ever be on board with Mike Green being better than Abdul Carter as a prospect.
Nobody's gonna say that. Nobody would say that. Nobody is going to
Mike Green won't be a good player. He might be a solid player. Hell, this might be comparable at the like TJ Watt was not the prospect Myles Garrett was coming out, but they've been compared their whole damn career. I think somewhat unjustifiably so, but still had two really good careers, two different fast, viewed very differently coming out of college. Doesn't change the fact that Myles was a vastly better prospect than TJ Watt coming out.
Vastly better player too, but we're not gonna get into
we not gonna get into that. But that's the thing here is like, why are we acting like Mike Green has something? Like, if you want to do this shit with Shamar Stewart, I would maybe be willing to hear some of it because he's 6'6", he's super athletic, he has that prototypical size, he just doesn't have the protection. And if you can blame that on surf techniques and all this other shit, okay, fine. Right, if you want to make this a Travon Walker versus a Hutch, situation, okay, cool. Like that has some merit. But Mike Green the same kind of prospect Abdul is, except for Abdul do all the stuff better. Like,
hey man, one of my homies told me that Abdul only got one pass rush move. I'm like, nah.
Which homie was that? You need to put that man on blast.
I'm not gonna put my dog on blast.
I don't know who that was. I don't want to be too ruthless because I might know him too. But dog, come on, man. What?
I was like, what? I literally looked up a Twitter video. I was like, man, I've seen about 6 different moves already. Like,
he's been doing it 1 year. If he had one pass rush move, it would be legitimately excusable. But there's like 6.
Like I seen a hand swipe. I seen the spin move. I seen the different rib. Like I saw the ghost move was the second. The ghost move was the second move I saw. I'm like, yeah, come on, man.
He has one move that I'm like, it's kind of weak. He needs to work on it. That's his spin move.
Yeah, the spin move he need work.
Yeah, the spin move it needs some work. It needs some little refinement
to get them hips a little bit looser because he look tight as fuck when he do that spin move. But other than that, he's fine.
Come on, man. We overthinking it. We overthinking the Abdul thing.
Is this like too many people have been like Abdul Carter's really good, and there's like a pushback because a lot of people are saying Abdul Carter's really good, so like people just have to push back. Is that what we're dealing with?
I think it's like, people wanted them to draft a quarterback so badly they just started lying about what Abdul is.
They lie and they make up shit just to feel better about themselves, which I feel like that's another topic for another day. Like I suggested that they don't need to go with the quarterback. People are saying, "Oh, you're just being scared." I'm like, how the fuck am I being scared? I guess using common sense is being scared. Apparently, I just don't want them to reach on a quarterback. That's all. But
and you know who else doesn't want them to reach on a quarterback? Jimmy Haslam.
Jimmy Haslam looked at these boys and was like, "Nah, I ain't doing that again." I'm gonna let y'all know right now. It ain't happening. Okay. And
came out and said
absolutely do not benefit from Jimmy going out there and being like, we're not gonna reach on the quarterback. Because their whole fucking motive for trying to get somebody to trade up is people think they're gonna reach on the quarterback.
They still might be able to get somebody to trade up. Just we'll talk about that in a second though.
We'll see. I've been highly doubtful of the idea of somebody trading up with the Cleveland Browns for a while now. But you know, if it happens and you're still able to get the one of two guys that I think are perfect for this conversation, then I got no problem with it. But yeah, the Deshaun thing's done, and I like to see that at least internally it does not appear that they're in panic mode. Now, they should do everything in their power to figure out if they really do like one of these quarterbacks, right? I want them to do the private workouts with Shedeur Sanders. I want them to do the private workout with Cam Ward, right? I want them to be 100. If you're not going to take a quarterback, you have to be more sure about not taking one than you would about taking one, right? Like at number 2, I do think that's a fair point. Like if you are going to take a quarterback, you cannot take it lightly. You have to do all of the work as if you were going to take a quarterback. And if you do all that work and you're like, I'm absolutely fine passing on 1 and 2, then cool. It's not an assessment I would disagree with, but you know, do your due diligence, right? Because you don't want to pass on a good quarterback because obviously it's your biggest need. That being said, I mean, look at this draft class. Like I know Cam Ward's stock has rised a lot with folks. I might be on a little bit of an island on this, and I don't think I'm on an island truly. I think everybody tripping on that shit. Like, I think this Cam Ward at number 1 feels like I want to go back to number 1 overall picks and see like what can I pinpoint as a worse number 1 overall pick than him? And I'm like, If we go back, maybe you could say Eric Fisher was probably the worst prospect to go number 1 overall in a draft.
Let's see. Let's look at the list. Recent history.
Bryce Young. Bryce Young was seen as an incredible prospect, though.
I was about to say, yeah, that
prospect.
That don't count.
Like it didn't. It wasn't a surprise that Bryce went number 1.
Yeah, I was about to say it wasn't a surprise that Jameis went number 1 either. So we're not gonna do that.
Jameis was seen as generational.
Yeah, he was. He really was.
Marcus. Jameis was supposed to be the last of the old guard, and Marcus was supposed to be that new thing, right? The RPO quarterback. That was supposed to be what he was. Someone say Eric Fisher was a dog. Yes, Eric Fisher was good. We're not talking about what they became. We're talking about as prospects coming out. Eric Fisher was not expected to be the number 1 overall pick. That was supposed to be like Luke Jokel, or it was an awful year to have the number 1 overall pick in 2013.
Yes, it was. Hey, but shout out Eric Fisher, Pro Bowler. You know what I'm saying? He did the thing.
He ended up playing right tackle, right?
I think so. Super Bowl champion, so good for him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Usually you don't draft the right tackle number 1 overall, but that was the kind of year it was. Right? And I think that was John Dorsey. Made the right choice.
Would you? I can't say Sam Bradford because he got hurt all the time. He got hurt all the time.
Well, Sam was an amazing prospect.
Yeah, he was an amazing prospect, so that don't count.
Yeah, once we start getting the Cam Newtons, the Andrew Lucks,
Jamarcus Russell's really the only one I'm looking at where it's like, ugh.
Yeah, and Jamarcus Russell just was an ass player, but as a prospect, he was getting compared to Elway.
And then David Carr, and then
I think David Carr. I think I did this with JP, and David Carr was the one where maybe that's the worst quarterback prospect to be taken number 1 overall since if Cam Ward goes number 1 overall.
Probably, yeah. Because when you look at the rest,
I wasn't around back then, but I don't know if Derek Carr was a hot prospect. Somebody in 2000, y'all let me know if y'all was like an adult with opinions and shit back then. What y'all felt about Derek Carr coming out of college? I mean, not Derek Carr, David Carr coming out of college. Because I have absolutely no recollection.
Hey, bro, you know what's funny? Tim Couch, Courtney Brown, back to back. Year before Peyton Manning. Year before Tim Couch, Peyton Manning. Year after Courtney Brown, Michael Vick.
Just incredible. We got the number 1 overall pick when there was a year to take Myles Garrett. Hey, I just don't even want to look at it like that because I'm like, oh my God. The thing is, the Browns had the number 1 overall pick in 2017 and 2018, and those are 2 incredible years to have the number 1 overall pick. And they got it right once.
They did.
Could you imagine if they got it right twice?
Oh man. Woo. They take Josh Allen, change everything. Change everything.
Hey, look, if John Dorsey was really a maverick, he would have did what nobody would have done. Lamar Jackson, number 1 overall. Because that's the one I'm like, hey man, I feel like he would have figured it out. Like Josh Allen, there was a lot to figure out there. Lamar, hey man, say what you want about Lamar Jackson. He really just came into the league and won 10 games. He might have kept Hugh Jackson in the NFL.
Did you hear the story about what they were planning on doing in that draft?
What, the 2018 draft? Were they trying to trade back into the first round to get Lamar? Or were they going to take Lamar at 33?
They were going to take Lamar at 33.
Or 34, whatever. I think they were at 34 because they're the number 1 overall pick. But yeah.
I think there was 33 or 34, but they were waiting to see what was going to happen, what the Ravens were going to do. Or they were waiting to see what was going to happen with the last pick in the first round, and they were going to take Lamar with their first pick in the second round, and then they were just going to let him and Baker battle it out in camp.
Yeah, that's insane.
It is insane, but that's what John Dorsey was going to do.
That's insane. And this is my whole point about John Dorsey. John Dorsey's a really good scout, right? And you can't take that away from him. John Dorsey is just not a good GM. And shit like that's why. Because the team building stuff, the relationship management stuff, John Dorsey has been historically awful at that. You don't draft Pat Mahomes to get fired a couple of years later because people like working with you, right? You don't draft Nick Chubb, Denzel Ward in one draft and then get fired a year later because people love working with you. he's just not good at the general managing stuff. But as a scout, I think John Dorsey has a pretty good track record that can't be denied. People tend to overinflate that though and make it seem like he's the greatest GM to ever live. And I'm like, you're ignoring all of the other shit that comes with John Dorsey. Like, that's the problem, right? With John is that he's not really good at managing a team. As a scout, though, he's pretty good.
Scout, though, he's really good.
Yeah, he's a man to scout. Like you know what John Dorsey is? He is the front office equivalent to the dude who could be the defensive coordinator but can't be the head coach, right? He is Vic Fangio, electric defensive coordinator. Don't need to hire him as the head coach. And that is what the Lions have lucked into, which is, hey, they finally got John Dorsey when people realize that man don't need to be in fucking charge. You notice all that good stuff he's been doing with the Lions, ain't nobody trying to hire him.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that man is born to be an advisor, right? Like, but he don't need to be running the whole goddamn show. But yeah, I'm happy Dorsey finally got into the right spot too. Yes, Dorsey also sucked at cap management, dude. Could you imagine?
Yes,
Watson contract.
yes.
Dorsey.
Oh my lord, we would have been cooked, bro. We would have been finished. Like, not even lying, we would have been finished.
We would have been capital F fucked.
Oh man, it would have been all bad
in St. Louis. That man didn't give a fuck about the cap, man.
At least I know Andrew Berry knows what's going on with that.
That's the thing about Andrew. A lot of the stuff he's good at flies under. That is the fun thing about this conversation about Andrew and John Dorsey for people who are willing to have it. John is good at all the flashy stuff, but Andrew's really good at all that shit you kind of got to explain to understand why it's good, right? Like the cap management, the player retainment, the fact that he's been able to retain this percentage of player this consistently, despite the fact that they're paying the worst contract out in the NFL for 2 more years.
That apparently is not their fault.
Like,
no, when I read, I forgot who said it, but no, it was Charles Robinson from Yahoo when he said that people around the NFL, like people like on other teams, do not blame that Deshaun, like the entire Deshaun Watson situation. They said they do not blame that on Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski. I was like, that's interesting for him to just put that out there and say that. And then a couple weeks later, Jimmy Haslam was like, yeah, man, that's on me.
Out the bag.
I was like, all right, well.
Now we know.
Now we know whose fault it was.
Hey, look, and we said it the day it happened. This felt like a Jimmy Haslam booster moment where he's like, fly me back to Atlanta. I got something I want to leave on that young man doorstep. Bag of money, right? Like, all yours, $230 million in cash. You can smell it, you know. But yeah, man.
Yeah, when Charles said that, like the contract specifically is how he knew that Andrew Berry wasn't the one driving it, because he would have made sure they had an out at some point in the deal.
Hey, look, he has outs on this contract with fucking Myles Garrett. Like, he got an out in 2027 with Myles Garrett. This man will work it out into any contract. And that Watson contract had no out because Jimmy was like, what we gonna need an out for? Like, still made it work. Still made it work. Hey.
He made it happen, and they made it happen. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens going forward.
It's like with DePodesta, right? Where people were mad at him about the Freddie Kitchens hire, and then we found out the DePodesta actually suggested that they do the opposite. And since then, DePodesta's job security has been ironclad. Right?
He wanted them to hire Kevin that year, didn't he?
He wanted them to hire Sean McDermott in like 2017 when they hired Hugh. They ignored him, right? And then in 2019, he was like, hey, let's hire this guy, Kevin Stefanski. He's really good. They ignored him. Kevin gets hired in 2020, wins coach of the year. And since then, it's like people are like, oh, we should fire DePodesta. He's the puppet man. Like, he's good at his job. like, all he does is send reports about like what you should do, maybe, or suggest in the future. Like that's what he's doing. He's research and development, right? But yeah, the DePodesta thing that kept him there, and I wouldn't be surprised if Andrew Berry's job security became more solid after that whole debacle. And man, that would make sense that Andrew Berry was up there talking about I'm the steward. Okay,
listen,
because he was like, you know what, son, you got the keys.
Listen, when he said that, I came on here and I said that immediately. They're like, this man came out and said, I am the steward of this franchise now and for the foreseeable future. And he said that in the midst of the worst season they have had since they've been here. I was like, oh yeah, they're good. They're good, dog.
Dog, when the news came out that Miles, that he wasn't trading Miles, and we found out that probably that stuff happened during the Senior Bowl, all I can remember is Andrew Berry was at that Senior Bowl, ear to ear cheesing the whole time.
Smiling, bro, like not worried.
I was like, man, he in a good mood. This is
like, why he smiling so much?
Yeah, like he just had to answer a question whether you gonna trade Myles Garrett or not. He's like, nah, I'm good, bro. Like,
he said, like, straight up, nah, we ain't trade Myles. Why you think we trade Myles?
Yeah, before it even came out, he let you know what was going to happen, and then like the whole offseason happened. It was like, oh, you stood on business.
Like, he's like, no, we're not trading him. That's the thing about Andrew Berry, bro. Like, I don't know when he lying, and I don't know when he lying and when he telling the truth. But like, it'd be like little things that let you know when he's serious about something. Like you got to go back and like look at what he's done when he's been in certain situations, and then you'll know how he's going to handle those.
He is a man of pattern, right? Like that is the thing about Andrew. The patterns hold up really well with Andrew. He is a logical man, and he's consistent, right? I think a lot of people in this city, especially who used to cover the Browns, are used to illogical, inconsistent men. And like with Andrew, he's very consistent, right? He's not going to, if you're hearing a bunch of stuff about what the Browns are going to do, you probably got the wrong source. That is not happening, right? But if you line it up with like, okay, logically, what is like, this is how we've been able to guess the fucking quarterback to the team like the last couple of years where you're looking at backups. Like he had a pattern. Like he showed us the template and then he just followed that template for the last couple of years. Right, where I was like, oh yeah, to go Jacoby Brissett. It was not very hard for me to figure that out. It was like I had to dig deep and find sources. Like this is a man of pattern and consistency. And
now the Kenny Pickett thing, to be fair, caught us off guard a little bit. And then I thought about it. I was like, former first round pick. I was like,
former first round pick, had to get rid of DTR, and then they gave up a fifth. And like, here's where it made sense. Daniel Jones got $14 million to be the backup for the Indianapolis Colts. 2.5 feel like a bargain. For somebody who like, look, I know the opinion of Kenny Pickett is shit, right? Like absolutely shit in this city. But to be fair, the man did do a decent job as being the backup for the Philadelphia Eagles. Played in 2 games that mattered for the Philadelphia Eagles. Did well in those 2 games, enough for the Eagles to win, and proved that he could be a NFL quality backup at the very least.
I mean, even in Pittsburgh, like they won a ton of games when he played. Like, I mean, it is what it is. I can't take that from him. And also, he's definitely better than DTR,
which is the more important part.
Like he's 100% better than DTR. Can't even deny it. No, somebody on the space was like, I did a space yesterday. Somebody was like. It's like DTR was 2 packs of ass. Kenny Pickett just like a pack of ass. And then Nate, my dog Nate was like, brother, that's a 50% reduction in ass. You can't turn that down.
This has been my whole point about the quarterback room, man. Like, is Kirk Cousins amazing? No. What Kirk Cousins is what you can say he's mid or he's you know? But let me tell you, compared to what we had at quarterback last year, 200% improvement. Like we were praying to get some at quarterback last year, dog. Like what?
Yeah, we talking going from worst in the league to mid. That's okay. You know what I'm saying? That's fine.
Yeah, man. We're talking about the difference between walking and driving, right? Like, either you can walk somewhere, ain't got no fucking sidewalks, you got to walk in the street, and they ain't got no bus system, or you can drive in a beat up 2013 Toyota Camry. I choose the Camry every time, dog.
Shoot the Camry every time, man.
Yeah. Like, probably gonna do that. That don't mean that Camry gonna take you to the promised land, right? Like, you're not gonna have the big break in the fucking Camry, but you know what the Camry gonna do? Get you to work. And that's what we need a quarterback to do for the Browns this year. Just get the fucking work. Like, just get us to work, dog. Like, we just need to be functional offensively. When we were functional, Jameis had 500 yards passing. It's not because Jameis that good. It's because the shit was there the whole season.
It's definitely not because Jameis that good. Bro, we thought these receivers was ass, and then Jameis went in there and was like, oh.
So it's not them. And look, I never thought these receivers were ass. I was like, man, Watson sucks. They were like, oh, the receivers are bad. The offensive line is bad. I'm like, I understand that they're not playing exceptionally well. But the amount in which Deshaun Watson and Dorian Thompson-Robinson drag down the productivity of everybody on that offense, got to be studied. Got to be studied. I've watched a lot of bad quarterback play. To be fair, it's not until like I become an adult that I understand what I'm watching when I see bad quarterback play. But man, I've never seen it that bad in Cleveland. Like, I have never seen it.
People said I was being dramatic when I said, hey, this man is arguably the worst starting quarterback the Browns have had since the team came back. Like, it's that bad. That's how bad he was playing.
No, 2024 Watson was that bad. I would argue that like not even like factoring in that like he's been accused of what he was, like just on the field wise. Yeah, that was some of the worst quarterback play I've seen. Because like at least Brandon Whedon would throw the ball.
Bro, we literally had.
Someone said only Johnny Football was worse. No, I would argue that Johnny Football had some standout moments that Deshaun did not have last year. Like Johnny Football had that one game versus Kansas City where he almost ran us into victory. He had that game versus Tennessee where he threw that game-winning touchdown. Tell me Deshaun gave you anything like that.
Nothing, bro. Nothing.
Like maybe the only thing was worse was rookie Johnny Manziel. But second year Johnny clears whatever the fuck we got from Deshaun this year. And that is a horrific statement.
But bro, do you understand that some of you were defending him when he said that it was a decoy route?
I forgot about that.
Defending that.
I forgot about the decoy gate.
You were defending that.
Said it so confidently.
And people really
let's talk about that. That shit pissed me off.
Genuinely defended that. I was like, dog, are y'all serious? Like, I'm serious.
Like his eyes were on that shit too the whole fucking way. He was like, it's a decoy.
Like, that was not a decoy. Like he had me thinking like RPOs don't have decoys in them unless that's a new trick now.
It was a whole route combo. He said the whole fucking thing was a decoy.
Bro, Kevin had to go up there and say,
this motherfucker forgot how to play football, dog.
Kevin had to go up there and say, this man gives us the best chance to win.
Ooh,
until they
he ain't ever getting fired.
He had to go up there and say that
He's
every week.
Fired. Dog.
Because that's what Jimmy wanted them to do.
They are never getting fired.
Never getting fired. Never getting fired, bro. Never getting fired.
Hey, and look, another thing to point out with Jimmy, I know he got a lot of shit for firing all these people from like 2017 to 20 whatever, right? Low-key, if you look at his track record, he really don't want to fire nobody.
Yeah, Hugh had way too long a leash, dog.
Dog, he gave Hugh a third year. Like, he let John hire fucking Freddie Kitchens like before he fired him.
Freddie was the last one who got old Jimmy. And to be fair, Jimmy made the right
Jimmy was absolutely right. I don't care what anybody says. Jimmy was absolutely right to fire Freddie Kitchens that fast.
It was like, nah.
It was obvious by like week 7. I'm like, oh man, we fucked. Like, this season is good.
It was like, nah, man, you gotta go.
Bro, he's not serious at all. They don't take this man. I remember I felt bad for Baker that year because Baker was trying to. There was like reports that Baker was out here leading meetings and basically coaching the fucking team.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, he's in his 2nd year in the NFL. This is wild that we're asking him to do this. That's what killed the Baker Mayfield era in Cleveland. Any chance of that being like workable? I think 2019 killed it because you put him in a position where Baker had to basically take charge of the whole team. He didn't do a great job of it, but he got that power. And 2020 comes and Kevin's like, this is my offense. And Baker never really let that go. And then it became the power struggle it became between those two in 2021. But yeah,
it's just listen, at least Jimmy figured it out. So I mean, it is what it is.
It took him what? This is his 3rd one. This is his 3rd one. He definitely led the charge for Johnny.
Yeah,
he
definitely
was
led the charge for Johnny.
100% behind that. Let's see.
I don't know how badly, like how much he was pounding the table for Baker. I think that was a Brown. I think the Browns.
That was a John Dorsey.
Yeah, I think that's
John Dorsey loved him. John Dorsey and
that's how it's supposed to go.
Yeah,
how it's supposed to go.
John Dorsey and Hugh Jackson loved him. God bless you. Yeah, they take him number 1 overall. Which look, to be fair, could have been much worse than Baker Mayfield at number 1 overall. I've always contended that. Is he overdrafted? Yes. I don't think he's a bust. Because he was
definitely not a bust.
He's
definitely
a Pro Bowler, right? Multiple time Pro Bowler. He's a good quarterback. Just unfortunately, 2 demons winning that draft. Like in the year before Pat came out. Like it is what it is. Like,
just couldn't get one and just couldn't get one.
Hey, just didn't happen. Buffalo got that dude, right? And Buffalo don't ever get that dude. Like,
man. It hurts. It hurts, man.
Hey, man, I can't talk shit. I was not acting like I'm never going to act like when I was in college in 2017 of going into that draft. I am not going to sit here and act like I was pounding the table for Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. I was doing quite the opposite.
I was like, hey, take Baker. Take Baker. That's the one. That's the one. I was like, take Baker. He's good.
I'm fine with Baker. Sam Darnold is intriguing. There's something about Rosen. And I was like, oh. Then I think like halfway through the process, I was like, nah, Rosen's out. But yeah, it was between Baker and Sam Darnold. So like, I ain't going to ever blame John Dorsey for drafting Baker Mayfield. It made sense.
Yeah, it did make sense. I was like, he's the most accurate quarterback in college. He's been the most accurate quarterback in college for 2 years. You got to take Baker. I was on all of that.
Oh yeah. Shout out Corey. You know what I mean?
I was on all of it. Like, yeah, we got to do that. Boy, was I wrong.
That wrong. The accuracy is a hard thing to translate to the NFL. And also, like with some dudes, it don't matter how accurate they are, but other dudes it do. And like we're gonna have this conversation about Jalen Milroe, right? Where I'm like, he is so talented that like you could live with his inaccuracy if he could just get it to a point to where he's normally inaccurate, not like egregious at times like he tends to be. But like, you know, I'd rather have somebody who's a little bit more inaccurate, but has that spectacular ability as an athlete than somebody who's like super accurate, but does not have a lot of physical traits. Because them physical traits be beating people ass. Like Shador, I think he will be fine long-term, but that first year going to be rough for that brother.
And whereas Jalen Milroe, I'm like, hey man, he run 4.3 or 4.4, whatever.
That's the thing. Jalen Milroe walks into the league as an elite runner. Like day one, 4.36 unofficial time. I think RG3 ran 4.37.
Dude, did he?
Yeah, RG3 was crazy. RG3 ran 4.37. No, or 4.39? Was it 4.39?
4.41.
4-4-1. That's
So
what
he
they
did
officially gave it.
unofficial 4-4-1 and another unofficial 4-3-8.
Yeah. I know I talked to Kai. He was there. He was like, there was a lot of 4-3s and there was a lot of 4-4 low 4-4s. So he definitely ran somewhere in that territory. Like, yeah. Think about every quarterback that could run a little bit, and then Jalen Milroe is like way better. And like as a runner, way better runner than RG3.
He heavier than RG3 was too.
Well, RG3 was a 205 coming out.
I think so.
He's 215, and that's all muscle. So he's probably gonna put on like 10 pounds during the season.
Is he 215? I thought he played at 225.
He played at 225. He was 215 in the combine.
Okay, so yeah, he gonna gain something.
This is the ridiculous shit about Jalen Milroe that like I just find intriguing. He cut 10 pounds. Yeah. Like, where did he fucking find the time to cut 10 pounds? Like, he cut 10 pounds and made his hand grow half an inch. That man must have the wildest work ethic you've ever seen in your life.
Hey, Nick Saban said, don't nobody work harder than Jalen Milroe.
Nick Saban.
Don't nobody work harder than Jalen.
They were like, no, he legitimately shows up at 4 in the morning. I was like, what? What? And like, it's not bullshit. He shows up at 4 in the morning, takes a nap. No, he's actually the dude on TikTok that everybody been roasted. Like that is Jalen Milroe in real life, dog. He actually does that shit. Like, that's crazy. But that's the kind of maniac mindset that I need from a quarterback that I hope to develop. Like, I'm
not gonna lie to you, bro. That mentality is something I just think the Cleveland Browns need in general.
Hey, man. Remember when Baker got in trouble because he showed up at like 6 and Tyrod was here at 5? He's like, I need you to be here at 5. Baker was, what the fuck you need me to be here at 5? Jalen Milroe gonna be there at 4 in the morning. For what?
like at some point, we just need somebody who be like, nah, I give a fuck. I'm gonna be here at 4. I'm trying to win.
No, you need to be an extra rep.
like, okay. All right, Jalen.
Yeah, and apparently, like, because I knew coaches loved him, but the players love him too. Like, there's something about that dude that I'm like, And I watched like 7 games of Jalen Milroe over the last couple of weeks. I don't think he's as far behind in the pocket as people think.
I've heard some like people who've done breakdowns like, hey man, his pocket presence actually isn't bad.
A lot of Alabama was they sent guys like 20 yards down the field and he would have to wait for shit to develop. And that's where you get that shit where it's like and it just looks like, what the fuck's going on, Jalen? Like, you just waiting for somebody to hit you. No, they're sending dudes like 20 yards on the field and they're giving him no check down.
Yeah, because they figure he just gonna run. Like, he could just run and pick it up himself.
Also, that offensive line of Alabama, not good last year. Like, I was not impressed by the Alabama offensive line while watching these games. And I was like, man, he stays in there. He's not flighty, right? Like, I watched Shedeur. I'm like, Shedor's a little flighty. Cam Ward seems like he waits for the pocket to break down almost. Like, he kind of wants the shit to break down. Jalen be going through shit. He be working through his progressions. You know what I mean? Like, if you give him something in structure, he can perform in structure. He has no problem with it. He's not fighting against it. The only issue with him that I see is like, is he going to be accurate enough in the NFL? Right? Like, that's the big question mark with him. But like, as a guy who could process and like figure out different concepts and what the defense is throwing at you and being able to stay in the pocket, stand tall. I mean, he almost does it to a fault. Like, there are times where I'm like, it would help him to have a little bit more Cam Ward to his game where he's willing to freestyle. But like, if he's at his most comfortable when he is using his mind to work through passing, which I think is a very good thing for him, he's just not very accurate throw at the football. And I think that leads into people thinking it's something it's not.
I think on the breakdowns I've watched them, it's his feet.
Yeah.
And like, especially like when you said the offensive line was really bad, like when there's pressure in his face.
Yeah.
He's got dudes, his mechanics get like super wonky. Like
yeah, he don't got that wonky Cam Ward ability to just flick it in cement, right? Wherever his feet are, right? Like, that's not flexible.
he got to get his feet. He got to get his feet together. And I look, when he's been working with Jordan Palmer, I think that's the thing that they've been working on the most. Is just to make sure that like his footwork is together, and that everything from like his lower half like transfers to like when he's throwing the ball. Because it's so weird. Like he's more accurate throwing the ball deep to me than he is like intermediate and even like short.
But that makes sense to me because it's his feet.
Yeah, because his feet.
If you're going to throw the ball downfield, you're like, okay, I need to make sure my feet are right. But you're sometimes you get the tendency if you're throwing something like underneath to I'm just fucking arm it. He can't arm it, right? He need to do Pilates. He need to do fucking yoga. He need to get more flexible. He is stiff at times, right? But when he is conscious about his feet, the accuracy is much better. And the ability to process, I thought was going to be a big concern from watching the broadcast film of, watching him on TV. When I watch the film, I'm like, no, he's going through. There's times where he looks off guys and like holds safeties to the seam and he throws the opposite way. And I'm like, no, that's not shit you do if you can't process. Like, he can process. He can be. I watch him and I'm like, there's no way in my mind I think Kevin Stefanski watches that guy and thinks he can't do something with him.
It's just an accuracy thing.
Yeah. It's like,
and more than that, it's just a footwork.
Be the opinions like, hey, can you change that? Right? Can you change accuracy? But like all the stuff that like this is what I think he wanted DTR to be.
I can see that.
Yeah. Except for legitimate deep ball for him, which was DTR's downfall. Couldn't push the ball to save his goddamn life. Could not push the ball down the field.
Wasn't he was the academic Heisman, right?
Who
Jalen?
He got a master's degree in like 4 years.
Yeah.
And I know you know people with advanced degrees. Hey man, I would be impressed if he had a master's degree and looked like Jalen Milroe. I'd be like, what the fuck? How do you have the time to do all of that? Let alone look like Jalen Milroe, have a master's degree, and play football for fucking Alabama?
Listen, man. It's literally just the accuracy as a thrower of the football. That is the only thing keeping him out of being a first round pick. Because he got everything else. He got everything else.
He never put it together consistently at Alabama. Because there are moments where it's like, okay, he's a lot more like the LSU game. I'm like, he put a lot together in that one, right? But it felt like the pieces were there. He just never got it all to coalesce at the same time. And I wonder how that would have changed if he would have stayed for another year. It's Alabama, so you can't, right? You can't stay for 5 years of fucking Alabama. But if he would stay for another year, I wonder how much that would have changed things for him. But he would be in a much more competitive draft class, which means he probably would have won in the second round. Like, he was going to go in the second round either way. So I think it's smart for him to choose now. I think he's going to be the most interesting prospect to watch his career unfold and the most interesting prospect to see what teams like him. Because, like, if Cleveland gets a hold of him, if San Francisco gets a hold of him, if Pittsburgh, I don't know, Pittsburgh doesn't have the offensive creativity, but maybe the Mike Tomlin of it all will make it work out, right? Like, if a team that runs that kind of offense where you have to be on time, has the patience to see this through, and has a coach there that can guide this and has the clout to guide this, I can see it working. I'm intrigued with like San Francisco. I don't think he goes past San Francisco's second round pick because I don't know how you don't look at that guy and say to yourself, if you're San Francisco, we gotta get this fucking shot. Like, at worst, he could be our new running back. Like, but all the stuff you had problems with Trey Lance where Trey didn't want to be on time. You watch Jalen Milroe. Jalen wants to be on time and very often is on time. He just not very accurate, doesn't throw with great anticipation. But boy, he has such leverage as a runner that it don't really matter how accurate he is because he can open up these giant windows to throw to. It's just he needs to be, instead of 58% weighted on target, is Corey tracked him. He needs to be in that like 65 range, right? Like that mediocre range. If he's there, then yeah, that can easily work in the NFL because I don't think he makes the worst decision. Sometimes he makes a bad decision here or there, but
every quarterback makes a bad decision here.
Yeah, but like I've moved on this. I've fluctuated, right? I was originally like, hey man, you get like the 10th pick. I don't think I minded. But during the season before, like it was like after the Georgia game where everybody was there with Jalen Milroe, right? I was like, I don't think I minded. Then I got moved all the way back to 93 with him. I'm at 33 and I feel pretty good about it. You take that dude to 33. Worst case scenario, he ends up being the best gadget guy you got in the NFL.
I think
there's the floor, a really real floor with him too.
I think if he doesn't go.
Ooh, someone said the Vikings. That would be interesting.
That would be interesting.
Because he gets to throw the Jetta, so he don't got to be that accurate. Whew.
Yeah, but if he doesn't go in the first round, and I do not think he's going to go in the first round, I don't think he gets past the Browns pick.
Yeah, he's not slipping out of 40. Okay, like
I don't think he gets. I don't think he gets past
Pro Football Focus has a rate that I'd be very surprised if he slips out the top 40. Because I would talking to some people, we know some of the same people, Kai, right? You hear things like, yeah, there's a lot of people having quarterback 2, quarterback 3, and running back 3. That's not somebody who's slipping out the top 40.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going in a second. He's going in second round.
He's going early second. And I get it. I just hope whatever team he goes to knows what they're doing with him and like already runs something that I think he's already naturally inclined to be good at.
I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna throw it out there. I think Jalen Milroe is going to be a Cleveland Brown.
I think he's going to be picked 32. I think the Browns are going to trade up with Andrew Berry got his twin out there in Philadelphia, which is wild that we just now discovered that he has a twin brother.
You didn't know?
No, I didn't know.
Oh, no, I knew for a long time.
He's going to call his twin. They're going to exchange some kind of menial package to move up one pick. And they're going to take a package. It's going to be like a 7th and 20. It's something small. It's going to be incredible. You're moving back one pick, dude. like you're basically compensating for the extra year in the contract.
Basically, that's all it is.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns traded up to 32, but added like Greg Newsome into that trade and ended up getting more than what they like sent in. You know what I mean? Like it'd be like the Browns moved to 32, but they also pick up like a 4th.
Something like that.
Yeah, but they just trade Greg Newsome or something like that. Now, speaking of what the Browns might do at 2, we have the clip, but we don't have it downloaded. Well, actually, I do have it downloaded. Let me, because I put this in my video recently. Because Andrew Berry sounded a lot like your boy.
I was talking to some of this. I was actually talking to Kevin about this earlier in the week, that I think one of the more misguided comparisons is when people talk about Travis relative to, and this is with all due respect because these guys are Hall of Famers, to Charles Woodson and Champ Bailey, right? You know, they say like, hey, Charles Woodson, first predominant defensive player to win the Heisman, but he was really a two-way player. Champ was a two-way player. And I think what people don't realize is, so Charles Woodson in his college career, I realize it was a different era, but he had almost as many college receptions in his 3-year career as he did interceptions. He had 21 catches in college, and 16 passes. Champ Bailey had 59 catches in his 3-year career and under 1,000 yards, and I think 8 picks. Travis in the past 2 years, so Travis, 5th in the nation in receiving, led the Big 12 with 96 catches, 15 touchdowns, 7 career picks, like truly was a full-time player on both sides of the ball. And that's where he's like, I think there's maybe a little bit lost historically in terms of like how rare of what he accomplished at Colorado. Yeah, it's like he didn't moonlight on the offensive side of the ball. In fact, like if you think about it, this year alone, he had more. I think I want to say he had more catches, yards, and touchdowns than both Charles and Champ did combined in their 3 years. And so I think that maybe paints like how incredible of a season and really 2 seasons that Travis has had, and that's why I see it a little bit differently than those guys.
Who he sound like, Cole?
Did he watch the pod last week?
That's crazy, right?
He sound like he been in the chat. I don't know.
Hey, which one of you are Andrew Berry? Okay, like I was down there like, hey man, you ain't comparing them to these two-way players, brother. Just just throw me a shout out. You know what I mean? Give me some passes.
Fuck that. Give us a job.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
First we hit the no trade clause, right? Like I feel like somebody is sneaking somebody's getting credit. But all jokes aside, that is a point that I've been bringing up with Travis Hunter for a while, which is like, hey man, he's so much better on both sides of the ball than anybody we're talking about comparing him to, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
It's crazy. It's crazy that he basically said what we were talking about exactly like word for word. Last year.
Structure
last week, bro. We were saying all of this.
That's crazy, ain't it?
Oh,
I know that it had to be common because, like, when I brought this up to you, you're like, that's the first time I actually heard that. That one, there's a lot of things where people are like, oh, I think AB listens. I'm like, I don't think he does. And I still don't think he does. That was the first one. I'm like, that is wild. Either it's parallel thought or it's something, but it's wild. But yeah, talk about Travis as an offensive player. And here's the thing I've always contended, and why I've been on the Abdul Carter train, but I've always felt like, man, there's a strong chance we take it. Like my gut's been telling me we're going to take it, Travis Hunter, and I don't mind that at all, right? And I just want to get ahead of this. As the month goes on, and we get closer to the draft, people are going to realize that this conversation is going to be about Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter. You know what it's going to lead to, Cole? A lot of horrific takes about both Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter, as Browns fans switch from arguing about quarterback to arguing about which guy they should draft between Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter, which it does seem like this choice is clearly coming down to, right? As we speculated from the start.
This is what I don't understand. Okay, it's become extremely clear to everybody. If you listen to Jimmy Haslam and Andrew Berry yesterday, it has become extremely clear that they are not drafting Shedeur Sanders. They're not drafting him. It's pretty clear. I know they're not going to say that officially. I know that they want people to think that they can still take Shedeur or blah blah blah. They're not drafting Shedeur Sanders. Jimmy basically came out and told them, like, we're not drafting Shedeur Sanders. We're not going to do that. So just remove that possibility from your minds. It's not happening. Now I'm going to say this. You don't have to argue or fight about Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter.
Hey,
you don't have
to be perfectly fine with either choice.
Why do you have to take a side? You don't have to take a side.
You don't have to be tribal about this at all.
You can you know what? You taking either the best player in the draft or the second best player in the draft. And honestly, people flip-flop between the two on who's the best and who's not.
And look, you got to take Abdul Carter, who is a phenomenal edge prospect, or you could take Travis Hunter, who is the most phenomenal athlete, right? Like, we're looking at this as recruits, the most phenomenal athlete prospect in the draft to ever hit the NFL.
Literally, legitimate football unicorn. That's what Travis Hunter is.
Yeah. And it seems like Andrew Berry, and this is what makes me feel much better about it if they do it, seems like he understands what he's getting into, right?
I've never heard him talk about a player the way he talked about Travis Hunter yesterday.
Bro, he's tired of having to argue it. Like that sounds like a man who's arguing for it. We're like, oh well, what are we gonna do for what offense? Champ didn't play much on offense. He like, Champ Bailey, let me pull up these stats on you, brother. He had that shit at the hip, ready to go. The dude ain't on the team, dog. Like, why does he have these stats at the hip?
That is a man to me. This is my opinion. That is a man who has prepared himself to defend the pick of Travis Hunter at 2 if they stay at 2.
Yo, that is a man who was wrote that shit down on the fucking post-it note. Travis,
I'm telling you,
no matter what.
I'm telling you, bro. He is ready to draft Travis. He's ready to draft Travis right now. But this is what I think. This is what I think is going to come down to. This is what I think it's going to come down to. They're either, if they stay at 2, heavy emphasis on if they stay at 2, they're taking Travis.
Mm-hmm.
To me. But what I think is the other possibility, and I think if they can find it, this is what they'll end up doing. If they can trade back and still be like in the top 5-ish, they'll take Abdul.
Yeah. I look at it like this too. If we just looked at Travis Hunter as a corner, he is exactly what Andrew Berry wants in a corner.
Mm-hmm.
If we just look at Travis Hunter as a wide receiver, and like the point that I think Andrew Berry brings up that I think is a point that has not been examined far enough. Hey, man, this dude has been raw on the offensive side of the ball, and he was 5th in the nation in receiving yards in a year where Jeremiah Smith played, right? Like, it wasn't like there's been bad wide receivers. Like, it's some cold dudes out there. 5th. And when you watch Travis, it's not the most refined game that you've seen at the wide receiver position.
It's not.
Imagine if he dedicated more time to that position. Like, because we know he's been trained to be a defensive back his whole life. That's part of the reason he went to the Deion thing, right? Because Deion was the great DB. He was going to let him be what he's going to be. And Deion, to his credit, which it becomes so difficult talking about goddamn Deion Sanders or anything related to the Sanders family because, like, people are so polarized.
It gets weird. That's probably what it is. They weird about Deion.
People get real strange about Deion Sanders. And it comes from so many different perspectives and angles about Deion. Like, it's not just one thing where people don't like Deion. It's usually like 18 things. But with Deion, I think the one thing Deion did understand was like, hey, this dude is a once-in-a-generation athlete. Let me not take the horn off the unicorn, right? Let the unicorn be the unicorn. And did that to great extent. Him staying healthy. I mean, the Colorado season went to shit once he couldn't stay healthy last year. Mm-hmm. Then this year, he stayed healthy. They won 9 games, exceeded expectations, which I think people are forgetting because they lost the bowl game, but they exceeded expectations. But nobody expected Colorado to be a bowl team. I think they got ran through the Pac-12 the year before. So they exceeded expectations. And look, Shedeur Sanders is not a bad player, but let's be real. It had a lot to do with Travis.
I forgot who it was. Somebody was like, it's like, hey man, I'm supposed to be watching Shedeur Sanders tape. Shedeur Sanders show.
And I'm just watching Travis.
I'm literally just watching Travis.
I think I heard somebody say Travis got like 3 bad plays on tape this year. All the plays he played 1,500. So it's like, I saw 3 bad ones. Yes.
Ooh,
yes. I am not mad if they want to take Travis Hunter into. You do not have to be mad about any of this. Look, we don't got to. This is a great spot the Browns are in. Please, but I can't believe somebody's gonna do it. You know, I've watched enough Cam Ward to feel confident in my opinion about him. If they want to do that number 1 overall, roll the fucking red carpet out for them to do that number 1 overall because that's the best possible scenario for you. 1, you ain't got to worry about nobody saying you should have did it. And 2, leaves Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter on the board at 2, and you run to the podium to take one of those 2 guys. And look, if the Browns have a plan for Travis, take him. I love Abdul Carter as much as the next guy, but if you got a plan for Travis, like if you really feel like you gonna make this work on both sides, give him like 900, 1,000 snaps, take him.
Yeah, bro, you do not. I know it's the internet, and I know I'm fighting a losing battle because it's the internet, but you do not have to argue with any fucking body about Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter, bro. We are talking the 2 best prospects in the entire draft. I believe this. The Browns really can't fuck this up.
Well,
they can't fuck it up.
That is just a sentence that shouldn't be said. Like,
I know it because it's the Browns, and I know we all got PTSD about the Browns. I get it.
No, Cole. We just came off of a trade that many people were like, "Look, on the field, you can't fuck this up. It's Deshaun Watson."
Why you bring that up?
I'm just saying, dog. We can't be saying shit like that.
I'm trying to move on, and you keep trying to bring up old.
Look, man. We just can't be saying stuff like that. Nah, the man still got a job here, dog. Like,
okay.
You can fuck it up, but it's a very favorable situation for you.
Well, yeah, let's put it like that. I think there's a strong chance, whoever they take between Abdul and Travis, I think they'll be fine, and it's gonna work out pretty well for the Cleveland Browns.
Curtis, what do you think about this? If we can get Curtis on screen.
Either Abdul is fine with me or Travis Hunter is fine with me at this point. I mean, I would love an OP pass rush. That's cool. But Travis Hunter is a one-on-one dude. Like, dude's really good at football. He didn't win the Blitnikoff by mistake. He was one of the best receivers in the country last year. He won the Heisman. That wasn't a mistake either. So either one works with me. I mean, if you get Hunter, you can put him at the receiver, work him in some different packages on defense. I wouldn't have a problem with that. But Myles Garrett and Abdul Carter would be a really, really formidable edge rushing duo. Not to mention the edge rush that we have now outside of Myles Garrett. It's not that great, but either one's fine with me.
Yeah, man. Like, I'm not tripping about it, Curtis. I'm really not. I don't know where Q went, but like, I'm not tripping about it.
Man just disappeared.
Now he's back.
I'm back.
But yeah, but I'm not tripping about them taking either. I don't understand why people got to fight about it.
This is the most useless fight of all time to me. It's like people want to argue, oh man, it's going to be a disaster we draft. It's not going to be a disaster you draft Abdul. It's not going to be a disaster if you draft Travis Hunter. Like, let me tell you something. Travis Hunter is good at so many things that you're going to find something you could put him at. If he can't do both ways, play him at wide receiver. If all else fails, well, he's a fucking natural corner.
Like, I'm not worried about this shit at all, bro.
Yeah.
I'm really not.
Yeah. Now, I do think there's something intriguing about having a legitimate 50-50 ball guy in if you're going to draft Jalen Milroe at 33, which, like, I think you definitely need.
Listen, because Jalen gonna throw that thing up.
Hey, look, he gonna throw some 50-50 balls up, and Travis gonna be asked to catch him. And look, man, this is the city of Cleveland. We love hard workers. You think we ain't about to go hard for a man who does both sides of the football? Like, people think that's not gonna work in Cleveland? Again, this is where the Dion stuff gets weird. Hey, man, Travis ain't one of them dudes that be putting the AP on the fucking screen. That's Shador, right? That's Dion. Travis just go out there and play 1,500 snaps like a whole lineman.
I ain't gonna lie. Having Travis and Jalen Milroe just being all business in Cleveland.
Hey, Travis gonna get there and see Jalen Milroe and be like, nah, that's a man that works as hard as me. It is like Shador's a freakish, like, work mindset guy. But like, no, Jalen Milroe different with the dog.
Yeah, Travis Hunter don't do much. He just plays football, streams, and hang out with his wife. That's all he does.
You know,
nothing else.
Can't be minding his own business, you know? And look, works really, really hard. You can see it. Like, nah, man. And look, if he lets somebody get by him on defense, it's all good. He could get 15 yards on offense. Get that win back. Okay? Get that win back. Get that first down, brother. It's all good. Wins and losses. That's what he gonna be really good at. But yeah, man. Like, what Travis Hunter's favorite hobby is fishing. Patient man. You know?
All right. What are we doing? Patient man, we get it. We get it. We get it. We get it.
He can wait his zone to see the ball come, or he not gonna rush when he's asked to run mesh in zone. He gonna sit like he's supposed to. Yeah, I can see it with either of them, man. Like, I'm not gonna be 11 or 12 is fine with me at 2. Okay, like
pick one. Just pick one. We don't care.
Yeah,
we don't care.
Ooh, yeah. I'm not gonna participate in any anger or rage baiting about either of these two. They're both fine selections. They both will have great careers in the NFL, and I wish we could draft them both, but we can't. But yeah, it's funny how like this draft is shaping up. We'll see what happens. I am truly intrigued with the Tommy Rees aspect of this, right? Because I am convinced that Tommy Rees is probably singing the praises of Jalen Milroe, and then also like being like, I don't think that last guy used him right, which there's some evidence to that. But even when you look at like how Alabama used him, you watch the tape and you're like, this is not a quarterback they don't trust. Like, this is a quarterback that they gave a lot of responsibility to, and maybe it was a little bit too soon, too fast, or maybe the team wasn't ready for it. But yeah, there's something very intriguing about Jalen Milroe. Like, if we want to go the most intriguing draft of all of the Browns they can do, Jalen Milroe 33, and Travis Hunter at 2.
Yeah, that's definitely the most exciting combination you can come up with, in my opinion.
Hey man, how much is it gonna freak Travis out that the dude playing quarterback runs way faster than him? Like, I bet that's never happened in his life.
I definitely want to see them race.
Jalen gonna win.
I definitely want to see them race just to see.
And look, Jalen's game speed is faster than his 40 time.
Yes, it is.
Nick Emery, I was watching his tape versus South Carolina. There's a couple times where he beats him to the corner. And he had the angle. And I'm like, he just blew that man angle, and that man ran 4.39.
Yeah, he fast.
There's athletes, and then there's whatever the fuck Jalen Milroe is. Go watch him versus LSU. That one was like, there's like 4 runs in the LSU game where I'm like, that is the most incredible run I've ever seen.
Hey, no, you know what's gonna be funny? When Kevin take Kirk out for 3rd and 1 and bring in Jalen Milroe.
Hey, if I'm Kirk Cousins, I fight the quarterback package with Jalen Milroe with all your heart, because the first time that man break one off, you ain't coming back in, Kirk. You know damn well you're not coming back in. Imagine you're not cooking like you used to. Oh, yeah. If we gonna deal with the even touchdown interception ratio, we might as well throw the young buck in. Here's the thing, Cole. Jalen Milroe got that type of game the people on the team respect, right? Like, that's the thing. The people on the team gonna be like, we gotta put that dude in. Because you heard the same thing with Jalen Hurts. Mm-hmm. And Jalen Hurts is not the athlete that Jalen Milroe is. Much better passer, but like not the athlete that Jalen Milroe is. And debatable on the pass. They're better at different things as passers. But yeah, that's the thing. Hey man, I don't care who you have started. Any of your options that you have right here, they're probably going to be replaced.
I mean, if they win, then they'll keep you in there. But like, if it get tricky during the season, if the win-loss record ain't looking how it's supposed to,
let Jalen Milroe come in there, break off them runs like Nick Chubb his rookie year. Have everybody looking at Kevin like, why you ain't playing anymore? He ran the ball 3 times and got 300 yards. Why is he not in?
Listen, man, get me Travis, get me Jalen, and at running back, give me like DJ. Give me DJ Giddens or Caleb Johnson.
Fuck it, dog. Give me Travion.
all juice.
Yeah, we hitting the nitrous on the AFC North this year, dog. That's what we do. Do you want to be on the other side of a Jalen Milroe, Travion Henderson RPO with Travis Hunter somewhere in the middle of the field?
Nah, I really don't.
All right, man. Let's see what we can do with the young boys. Okay,
Oof, speed. Let me tell you something. Speed.
Yeah, look, that's the kind of thing that convinces everybody on the team, from the wide receiver room to the offensive line. Honestly, you're going to have to do your most convincing with the wide receiver room, right? Because they're going to be like, man, I don't know if he's going to throw it, right? Like, they want their targets. But let me tell you something, that offensive line, they got no problem with Jalen Milroe. They love it when you run. Like,
but I do like before I get too excited about the draft and Travis, I do wonder like how serious the trade down is, because the way Andrew Berry was talking about it had me feeling like, oh, this is something that you are seriously considering doing.
It's not considering. I think he would do it.
like this is something. If a team wants to come up to 2, you were like, yeah, I'll do it.
What?
That's what I'm saying. Like the way that he was talking, like if a team called them, like let's just say, because this is the team I've been looking at, like I am thinking that they might try to do it. Like if the Patriots called them and was like, hey, because Mike Vrabel's there, so I'm sure he has at least some idea of what the Browns are trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, so we know you love Travis. What we got to do to make sure you don't do that? What do we have to give you to make sure that you are cool taking Abdul Carter at 4?
Drake May.
No, but seriously, what? How many draft picks we got to give you to make sure you don't do that?
I think they would just take Travis, honestly. I think they love him.
I don't know.
If you
bro.
see somebody like there's a difference between how he's talking about Travis and every other prospect. It is clear to me when you look at how this man's eyes light up when he talks about Travis Hunter. In a way, Andrew Berry's not an emotional man.
He's not.
That man, he lit up, energy high, had stats on the go. That man feels like that is a generational prospect in Travis Hunter.
And because he is not an emotional man, if you offer enough for him to go back 2 spots and just take Abdul Carter, I think he would do it.
He's not an emotional man, but he's gotten emotional about this. And he's like, hey, man, what would you have traded to not take Drake May last year? Nothing. Yeah, brother. That's what I'm doing right now.
I don't think he's gonna do that. I think it's like how much we talking? That's like how much we talking.
Yeah,
so
I
can
like a future first, but I don't think the Patriots are gonna do that.
I don't even think it would have to be a future first.
If you view him as generational, it has to be a future first.
If they offered like their second and some other picks, I think he'd be like, I get your second and I get to take Abdul.
Nah, I don't think he would do it. Like if he really is as high on Travis as we think he is, right? Where it feels like there might be a gap between Travis and the rest of this class for him.
I don't see it.
I think you just don't pass up a player like that. If they feel that strongly about him, I just don't think he passes a player like that.
I don't think this necessarily. Okay, let me put it like this. I think they love Travis. I also think they love Abdul. And I think he would rather chase, I think at 2, he would rather chase the ceiling of what Travis can be, potentially on both ends, than Abdul just being like a version of Von Miller or maybe Micah Parsons and having him with Miles. But if there was a possibility where he got extra picks and then he could still take Abdul, who he also loves, I think he'd be like, you know what? Okay.
Yeah, but if you do that and there's any chance of it lingering of what if I would have just took Travis? Then you just got to take Travis, right? Like it depends on how sold he is. If he's not as sold as I think he is, then yeah, what you're saying makes a ton of sense. If he views them as equals, what you said makes a ton of sense, right? Because if it's and or, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But what I saw there was somebody who sees the vision very clearly for Travis, right? And if you are somebody who is willing to see the vision of what Travis is as a unicorn, then that's where we're like, oh man, it starts to enter into no-brainer category, because if you think he could be one of the better wide receivers in the NFL and a really useful corner for you, then yeah, you take that number one, right? So it depends on where he's at with it. I tend to think, my gut tells me, and it's just what my gut tells me, that Andrew looks at Travis and sees everything he wants a prospect to have for and things that he didn't even conceive of before Travis came out. Because again, we're looking at a wide receiver prospect who fits everything Andrew looks for. The only thing I think Abdul is so much younger. Did you know Abdul is like a half a year younger than Travis?
Listen.
Abdul doesn't turn 22 until next January.
This is what I'm saying. I think he loves Travis. Like, genuinely, I think he loves Travis as a prospect. Mm-hmm. I think he loves Abdul as a prospect too. Like, I don't think this is a I love one, but I really like the other one. I think he loves them both. I think that's the case. I think there's a ceiling with Travis, though. That's like, hey, if I have to stay at 2 and I have to pick somebody, I'm picking Travis, because there's a ceiling there that Abdul doesn't have, because Abdul can't play both ways. So like he just can't reach that. You know what I'm saying? Even if he's a dominant pass rusher, like he still can't be as productive as somebody who can be a 1,000-yard wide receiver and at least my number 2 corner. You know what I'm saying? Like he won't have that. Even if he's a dominant pass rusher next to Miles, he's not going to have that level of impact. You see what I'm saying? However, if somebody is willing to come up there and give you extra picks, and I'm not talking about some 5th rounders here. I'm talking about like top 50, top 75 picks for you to just come down 2 spots and then take Abdul anyway. I don't think he's going to say no. They got so many needs on this roster. I genuinely do not believe he would turn it down.
I think there's a world where he would. Yeah, I think there's a world where, because I think it really depends on how sold he is on Travis, right? Like, I think that's where we differ. Is I think there's a world where he's like, Abdul's a really good prospect. Travis is like, I would take him at 1. Like, I think that's the question Andrew needs to answer to himself, or ask himself and say, would you take this guy at 1? And if you're sitting there at 2 and somebody you would have took at 1 is there, I don't think anything can move you off that. You just got to take that guy. Because the fall off between that guy and the rest in your mind is significant. And I don't think a 2nd round pick can compensate for that, right? Only thing it can compensate for is like a 1st round pick. So that's the thing. Like, I tend to think, with everything that I've seen from Andrew, Travis might be the guy that he looks at and he's like, hey man, I would take this dude number 1 overall. I don't know if he feels that way about Abdul. We don't know very much about how he feels about Abdul. He could quite frankly feel the same way about Abdul, right? We know that he's talked about Travis more.
He's definitely has. The fact that he hasn't talked about Abdul as much is kind of like,
it's interesting.
Because you can look at it one of 2 ways. Yeah. Because you can look at it like, oh, they definitely want Travis. They definitely want Travis. They like that's the guy. That's who they want. Or you could look at it like, they don't like to talk about what they actually gonna do that much. So you could also look at it like, oh, he's not talking about Abdul because
he might want to do that, right?
Like, so, he's not talking about Abdul because he want to do that.
That's the great unknown. We know that he loves Travis Hunter. It's pretty clear.
It's pretty obvious. It's very obvious.
He's not hiding that at all. The question is, how does he feel about Abdul? If he sees them as equals, and if there's somebody else that fits into that thing as equals, it's like, I don't know what the Giants are going to do at 3. I think they are primed to do some wacky bullshit there at 3. I know a lot of people have him pegged for Shador, but man, I just could not think of a stupider quarterback room.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I think New York wants to take Travis at 3. I think they want to do that at 3.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like,
I'm gonna be real with you, bro. I could see it if the Giants, the Patriots, and the Jags all want to take Travis.
Yeah. And look, if that's the case, if the Patriots are trading up because they want Travis, take Travis. Fuck them, right? Like, why make their dreams come true? No, make your dream come true. You want this dude too? Like, what? Like, if somebody is sitting there and 2 or like 3 teams are like, yeah, man, what's going to take? You're willing to give a 2nd round pick to get? Oh, I'm taking him. I'm taking this dude. Like, everything I knew about him is confirmed. I'm taking him. What? Like, the hotter the market gets, the more I'm sitting because I'm like, yo, he must be cold. Okay, like that's it's the exact opposite of what the Cam Ward thing. The more the Titans try to trade that, the less I'm convinced they actually want to do that at number 1 overall. Because like, why would you do that? Want to do that if everybody's like, nah, we good. You got it. You got that. You got Cam Ward. Doesn't make me feel great about taking them number 1 overall. But you know what makes you feel great about taking somebody number 1 overall? Everybody called. Okay. Everybody called and asked me about this dude. Oh yeah, we sending that card in. We got something they want.
Listen, I'm telling you, bro. I think he gonna get when Cam goes 1 officially.
Mm-hmm.
I think he gonna get. He's probably already talked to teams about this, to be completely honest. But he's gonna get some. He's gonna get calls on draft day like, "Hey man, what we need? Like, what we got to do? What we got to do? You know you love Abdul, bro. Like, you know you love Abdul, bro. Like, let me get Travis. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guarantee you. He
the second I start getting them calls, well, I lock it in. I'm like, okay, well, turn that card in, Travis Hunter. Like, confirm.
See, we two different people. I'm like, how much you like? What you talking about? What you talking about?
Hey man, here's why I know. If I got, let's say it's trade cards, right? I got my hands on a trading card that I thought was pretty valuable, right? And then everybody calling about that goddamn trading card trying to get off me. I'm keeping it. I'm like, all right. There's something here that I need to understand the value of a little bit more because clearly, I'm offering it at a bargain. If y'all knocking down my door like it's a Black Friday sale to come get this shit off my hands, like, okay, clearly I am selling this at a loss. Okay. Like, no, I'm good. I'm taking the dude. Like, these people ain't my friends. They don't want me to be better. They want me to be worse and benefit. Nah. Y'all all calling me, trying to convince me this is the right move. I'm taking this dude that y'all want.
Listen, man.
The more people call, the more I'm like, hey, I'm locking it in.
Hey man, I'm like, how many picks are you throwing my way to do this? Because we got needs, bro.
Like, ain't that what happened to Kobe? Where Evan Mobley was there at 3? Kobe Altman.
I think the only team that was really no. What happened was the Thunder just wanted to take him, and like his agents and stuff were trying to get him to Oklahoma City. And Kobe was like, "Nah, fuck that."
Look, man, if he cold.
They didn't offer him anything. They were just like doing everything they could to try to make sure that he got to Oklahoma City, and he was like, "I don't give a shit."
Yeah, unless the offer is so ridiculous that it's like I can't not win this trade. If you're offering me something on the modest side and you really want, like, you're sitting at 4 and you're willing to offer me a 2nd round pick just to take Travis Hunter, I'm taking Travis Hunter because clearly he's valuable. Like, what?
Listen,
you're willing to offer me 2 top 40 picks? Like, yeah, okay. Unless, like, you got to go so far beyond the pale, like a 1st round, a 3rd round this year. I'm like, all right, like you just got the bug, right? Like, cool. But if you're willing to, like, reasonably, and I know you to be a reasonable person, and Mike Vrabel, we've worked together before, and you out here calling me, trying to make a crazy trade to get trapped, why would I give him to you? I'm not. Maybe I'm too scarred by the Julio Jones thing.
I think you are. I think it's
I don't
PTSD.
give a fuck. We did not learn the right lesson from the Julio Jones thing. We keep trying to trade back. Nah, dog. I'm taking Julio. Okay.
Okay, but like let's be reasonable here. You only going back to 4. You still get Abdul. This is a good thing. This is a good thing to me. Like I'm
I
cool
want to be mad, but if they felt like, no, fuck them trades, take Travis, I'm fine with that too. Right. I'm just saying, if we're looking at this from Andrew's perspective, he really thinks that Travis is above Abdul Carter, right?
Like if it's not close, you take Travis.
If you're willing to say that there's a separation where like I would trade back and take Abdul versus like I would take Travis at 2, okay, you take Travis Hunter. If that's where I'm at the place where I'm like, man, either or. I'm fine sitting at 2. And honestly, it would take a lot to move me because I'll just, fuck it. I don't want another chance to draft a good player. I just want to take the good players right in front of me. Like when I got the chance.
My whole rationale behind this is I don't think the Giants are taking Abdul Carter at 3, no matter what. Like I don't think they're even considering.
Dude, the Giants could do anything. I think the Giants might take it. I think the Giants might go running back. That's my hot take. Is they're a team that
Ashton?
Yeah. Here's why. The Giants are the one team we look at and go, oh my God, they need to win this year. Right? So much so they paid Russ 10 with 20.
I think it's
10 guaranteed.
20. I think it's 20, but 10 guaranteed.
Yeah. But 1 over 20 with 10 guaranteed. So like they trying to win right now because their jobs are on the line. And look, the only thing that's going to help you win right now, you got Malik Neighbors. You drafted a bunch of fucking offensive linemen. You know what your team could use, and you know what your team knows how to use? Really good running back. It might be the overcorrection of the century, but I can see them doing it because, like, hey, dog, you need to win now. Ashton Genty's the one guy I'm like, you could win a lot more games than you did last year just because you got that guy. Now, I don't know how long this is going to last.
And you have confirmed that you do not think they are going to take Abdul Carter at 3.
Yeah, I don't think they'll do Abdul.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. A trade down
is something very splashy. Like
that's what I'm saying though. A trade down I think a trade down is going to present itself where you still stay in the top 5. You see what I'm saying? Like if you go from 2 to 4, that's not a big deal. If the consolation prize
what would motivate, because unless you think this is the problem I have with the top 5 trade now, the only thing that would motivate New England to move up, right? Because why wouldn't they just be happy getting Abdul Carter at 4? Is if they think Travis is that especially good, right? Because we're beyond the point to where we think quarterback's going to force anybody to trade up. So that's the only thing. And it's like, if Travis is that good, the Browns are just going to take him. That's the only thing I have with the top 5 trade up is I just don't think the motivation to put the package together to move the Browns off that pick is gonna be there for anybody. Because like if you really want to get Travis, you want to move from 4 to 3, you might offer like a third. And if the Browns are really set on taking Travis, a third is not gonna stop you from taking him at 2.
No, it's not.
So
you gotta offer them enough to you gotta
offer a 2. And how good do you have to think Travis Hunter is to offer a 2 to move up 2 spots? And the question begs you, if you're Andrew Berry, if he's this good, what the fuck am I taking him? like if he's this good and there's a gap enough here between teams where they want to trade a second so they don't have to be in a position to just take Abdul, so they can take Travis, then I'm like, well, shit, why do I want to be the team that takes Abdul? Like, I'm going to just take Travis because, like, all them extra picks, look, if you hit on Travis and Travis is what you think he could be, then it ain't going to fucking matter. You could draft bullshit for the rest of the draft, and that draft's going to be seen as a great draft.
I disagree because they got 10 picks.
They got 10 picks. Outside of Nick Chubb and Denzel Ward. Was it Nick Chubb, Denzel Ward, Baker Mayfield? You know who else was in that draft? What about the Myles Garrett draft? It's like what David Njoku was in there, but that wasn't seen as a hit.
It was Miles, Jabril, David. Who else did we take in that draft?
That's my point exactly.
That's
my point exactly. That is my point precisely. You got Miles.
Now I'm over here trying to think like, bro,
who the draft? You got Miles.
Because I know we took David.
So Deshaun Kaiser was in that draft. Don't nobody give a fuck. Like,
Larry Ogunjobi.
Solid pick.
That was a good pick. That was a good pick. That was a good pick.
Yeah. Look, you didn't even care they took Deshaun Kaiser in that draft.
Repress that. Forgot he was in that draft.
Hey, it's easy to repress when you take Miles.
3 first-round picks. 3 first-round picks, man.
Mm-hmm. And you ended up with the Odell Beckham trade and then a pretty solid tight end. I'm not mad at that draft. Like, that's not one of those drafts we bring up. We bring up
solid.
Huh? Yeah, we bring up the 2018 draft more than we bring up that. Like,
man, that 2018 draft was what? Baker, Denzel, and then
I promise you. And Travis Hunter becomes a legitimate all-pro player on one side of the ball and a Pro Bowl level player on the other side of the ball. We aren't going to give a single fuck about what they do for the rest of that draft. It could be good, but like, yeah. If you hit on that pick, don't nobody care. I don't know what the Texans did outside that draft where they took C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson. Doesn't matter. Like, doesn't matter.
That's not true because they got Tank Dell that year.
They got Tank Dell. That's a cool bonus.
Yeah, they got Tank Dell that year.
They could have not gotten Tank Dell. It'd have been fine.
Somebody said Austin Corbett.
That was the year we drafted Howard Wilson, who never played a down for the Browns. Nobody cares. Like, you got
Austin Corbett, 1 pick before Nick Chubb.
Yeah, that was 2018. Mm-hmm. Somebody tried to convince me that wasn't John Dorsey's fault. I'm like, brother, he was drafted and traded under John Dorsey. What are y'all drinking? Like, the John Dorsey Kool-Aid is the thing that I don't understand. Is like, y'all be drinking that Kool-Aid crazy. I think he's taking they were like, well, he's making the picks in Detroit. Now I have a problem with that on a different level. Why y'all doing that man job?
He not doing that man job.
Okay.
He's not doing that man
Why
job.
Is it that man specifically that y'all think he doing his job? Like,
come on now.
Yeah, but it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? You hit big on like that top 5 pick. Don't nobody care.
Yeah, most people not gonna care. Most people not gonna care.
Yeah, they're not gonna be like, yeah, he got Travis Hunter and that worked out. That was a great selection. But did we look at the 4th round? Don't nobody care. Okay.
Domo is now sending me potential trade packages.
He's on the Abdul Carter train.
Yeah, he is steadfast
train, and we
no, he is.
He's not
Abdul all the way. You know what Domo messaged me? He was like, he messaged our chat. He was like, I need y'all to pick a side, and we was like, why we gotta pick a side? We like both. He's like, we was like, Domo, we've been saying for months, we like both of them. We don't care who they pick. He was like, I need y'all to pick a side because I need more ops. I was like,
he's hilarious.
I was like, dog. I was like, get your ass on somewhere, bro.
Hey, he's literally that one meme where it's like, I just wake up. It's like, was that one meme? Was like somebody, I just wake up hating, like needing things to hate. He a different breed, dog. Like,
he's like, I took down the quarterback at 2 people. I need some more ops. I'm like, nah, brother, it's not that.
Let me find out that Dabo's the Jalen Milroe of op finding. Like, he gonna be there at 4 in the morning. like scrolling, looking for people to oppose.
I was like, bro, we doing too much, man. We doing a lot.
He might be the greatest, actually guy of all time. Like,
I'll be fair to Double though. He was like always like, bro, they're not taking Shador too. Like they're not gonna do it. He was like on that for me. He's like, bro, they're not gonna do it. They're not gonna do it.
That's incredible. Someone just said he will look you dead in your face and call you brain dead for saying Travis should be worth the number 2 over
I promise you, bro. Like he's like vehemently opposed to taking Travis.
Now is this because I know Damo is a Jackson State guy too. Mm-hmm. Is this Deion related?
This is not Deion related.
This is not Deion related. He was rocking with Colorado.
I don't know, because he's a Jackson State alumnus. So he was like very
it hit a little harder.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think he was feeling it too much.
Yeah, I'd be pissed to have it at my alma mater. I ain't gonna lie to you.
No, I never held that against him. I never held that against him. It's like the feeling away about that, like Deion leaving. I never.
I'd feel the exact same way.
That didn't bother me at all. I was like, okay, yeah, I get that.
Because I remember people was getting ready to do that in Youngstown when Jim Tressel came back. It was like, oh, is he just here to get another job? And Jim Tressel had to stay there for fucking 10 years. Okay. But it did happen with Bo. Bo got it bad in Youngstown because he came back and then left after like 3 years. And people were like, man, fuck Bo. Kids that was recruited by him say that shit. I'm like, what? You was a Bo Pelini recruit. What you talking about?
Yeah, fuck Bo. Domo's hilarious, bro. Like he is the funniest dude in the world, bro. He is hilarious.
I respect it. I just respect it. You know what I mean? But we got anything else? We want to talk about the Cavs. Are people reacting too much to late spring basketball?
Hey man, it's March in the NBA. Nobody cares. The players don't even care for me.
I see people right now locked in like it's the playoffs. Like, I can't believe we lost to Detroit. I'm like, hey, bro.
No, I meant to talk about this because whenever they lose, everyone just says, man, I can't trust this team. I'm like, we can't enjoy shit around here, dog. Like
they were 13-5 in March, by the way.
Yeah, I take that. I will take that any day of the week.
That was the worst month.
Yes,
apparently, like 13-5. And you know what the fucked up part is? We never talk about this when we talk about the Cavs. The way that schedule was structured in March was fucking ridiculous.
This is one of my main points too, Cole. People are freaking out about situations that clearly arose because of things that aren't going to be replicated in the playoffs. You know what you're not going to do in the playoffs? Go on a West Coast road trip. Play all your games at 10:30.
Bro, it's deeper than that. I think they played the
brutal thing was like they brought them back home to play the Spurs. Yeah, they didn't play a home game for like a month. And today they had their first practice in the facility since like February.
Bro, they played 18 games in 34 days.
They've practiced like 3 times with DeAndre Hunter on the roster.
Like, do you understand how insane that is for you? 34 days.
Yes.
You play 18 games.
Yes.
That's fucking crazy.
But, the Cavs are frauds because they lost 5 of those games.
Hey, they weren't even like blowout losses. Like all of these were like close losses too.
On like horrific shooting nights. By the way, they're going up against like the best shooting night this team had all season.
I'm like, bro, I swear it's not a big deal, bro. It's not a big deal. They're gonna be fine. They just trying to be healthy by the time they get to the playoffs. Like that's it.
I said this shit before the West Coast trip. I was like, hey man, I've seen all I need to see. I just hope they stay healthy. Like before that West Coast trip, I was like, they are the team I think they are. They had like 58, 57 wins. I'm like, all right, just stay healthy, right? Probably twice health. They got 60 wins right now. Boston's only 4 games back now because they've been on like a heater.
Yeah, they're only 4 back now.
Yeah, but we'll see what happens there. The Cavs
How many games they got left? Like 7?
Yeah, 7 games. So if the Cavs won like 3, it's locked up.
I mean, they got to win. They win 4 games. It's over.
Yeah. Well, is the series? The season series is tied.
Season series is tied, but if they win 4 games, the Celtics aren't going to be able to catch them. So like, it's over with.
It would be very hard for Boston to catch them. And just enjoy it, y'all. Like we I think some fans do this thing where they're like, oh, if I act cynical about it, then the odds of this being better for the Cavs are better, or the odds of me being right about the Cavs are better. But it's like you leave yourself no room to enjoy this shit when you do that. Like, who gives a fuck if you're right or wrong about the team? They have 60 wins. It's April 1st. This is the best team, the best record the Cavs have ever had without LeBron James on the roster, ever. By 3 games.
Ever.
By 3 wins, it's April 1st.
Like,
enjoy
come
it.
on, man.
Enjoy it, Like, and also, like, what? They played the Clippers, and they were able to handle the Zubac problem. They got 20 from both their bigs. It's like, this is not 2022, man. Like, they're one issue they have to deal with is not going to deflate the whole team.
Hey, Q. Domo want me to ask you something.
What do you want me to ask?
Said the Patriots call Andrew Berry.
Nah, look, you set me up to be yelled at by this man. But what was the question?
The Patriots call Andrew Berry.
Yeah.
They offer pick 4, 38, 77, and 106 to get 2. You gonna say no?
Would I was never making the point that I would say no to any of this. I'm saying if I would take the pick, I would take the picks in the trade, get Abdul Carter if I'm convinced that the Giants ain't gonna take him. I don't mind it. The question I have here is like, how does Andrew feel about Travis?
Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the point I was making. I like Abdul and Travis just as much. I prefer Abdul to Travis because I know what to do with that in the Browns defense. I can see that easily working. Travis takes a little bit more work, and the upside could be higher, but I can see that working too. That's where I'm at. Andrew, I don't know where he's at. And I think, he could be high on Abdul like we are. He could be. He could be like the Buffalo man, right? He like Mike Green's just as good. Hey, look, Andrew's got some questionable decisions on that defensive line, though. I would not put it beyond him. Right?
You know what they did say? That Jimmy said that kind of had me feeling like I wonder if that's going to be something that matters in this draft process.
What?
When he said that there's pressure to get this pick. There's pressure to get this draft right. We got to get this draft right this year. And there is pressure to get this, like there's a level of pressure on making sure they take the right players in this draft. And I was like, I wonder if that leads them to Abdul. Because they got to get the pick.
Because it's less risky.
Because that's my whole thing. I was like, taking Abdul is the easiest thing they could do.
Nobody's going to blame you if the Abdul Carter thing does. The thing is, though, like, I think it's that way with both of them. If you draft Travis Hunter and it doesn't work out, it's not like people are going to be like, oh, you're fucking stupid. You drafted this guy too. Same thing with Abdul Carter, right? If it don't work with them, it's like, hey, man, the odds were great. Like, shit just didn't work out in your favor. It had an 80% chance of hitting. You got the 20. Like, I don't know what to do with that. Like, it is what it is. So I think what that means to me is they are more likely to take a blue chip player if they see a blue chip player at 2 than play games with it, right? Like, because what you don't want to happen is you trade back from 2 to 4 and Abdul and Travis are gone, and now you're on your second tier of guys.
Yeah. That's always the risk of trading back.
Yeah, so that's what it reads to me, which is like, hey, they basically are saying we have went 3 years without first round picks. we need to get some new dudes on this roster, right? Because right now, all the dudes that we are signing extended, they're from older draft classes outside of what, JOK and Grant Delpit?
Mm-hmm.
And even those guys, 2021, 2020, right? So they need to get some guys who are going to be, banner players for this team at the top of this draft, which to me indicates they're more likely to sit at 2 and take somebody that they feel like is a blue chip prospect. Because it's the Julio Jones question. Like, yeah, you could trade back and finagle more value, but I don't think the Browns are a team that sees themselves as a roster poor team. I think they feel like they are a very strong roster with some obvious holes on the offensive side of the ball. And they say to themselves, we don't really need 1 million picks. We really just need to get some guys at the top end of this roster that are younger, because all our top guys are 27 or older.
Yeah.
Or like have neck issues, that we don't know what the status of is at this point. So that's what I think when I hear that is they definitely want to take somebody at 2. And they want to take somebody that they feel like could be a day one impact player. And I think you can say that could be the truth about Abdul. That could be the truth about Travis. To me, it's like, to me, that statement makes it clear to me. I'm like, hey, dude, they're taking one of those 2 guys. They are going to take the consensus best player in this. Like, they're going to go after that. Whether it's Abdul or Travis, well, that's going to be up to Andrew Berry and the scouting department they have over there. But yeah, I think that's what that means. Be interesting to see.
I mean, yeah, we're gonna find out pretty soon. Lance Zierlein just put out another mock draft. Abdul too.
Abdul, Travis.
I want to see how the mocks change, because the last couple ones, like, almost universally were Abdul at 2.
Mm-hmm. Which is interesting.
Yeah, like even like Daniel Jeremiah, Dane Brugler, like all of them. Even like Zach Jackson had them taking Abdul when he did his. So I wonder, like, if like when they do another one in the next week or 2, if that changes, if that flips to Travis.
Yeah, it'll probably flip-flop between those 2 for the rest of the draft process.
Yeah, I just hope people stop mocking quarterbacks to the Browns, because that's not. Yeah, if you see anybody mock a quarterback to the Browns, just know they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, we'll see what happens to the draft, right? But if the Browns do not take a quarterback, there are some people who have been very mean to me in my comment section on YouTube that I would like an apology from. I heard you. I saw those comments. They hit my notifications on my phone. I heard you call me a fucking idiot because I haven't accepted that the Browns won't take a quarterback.
Oh man, they've been in my Twitter replies for months.
He's in denial. Like, damn, I just have an opinion.
Somebody was like, "You're gonna look foolish when they take."
He's scared.
I was called a puppet for not thinking like the way they do. I'm like, well, okay, fine.
Nah, not draft. This fucking take a quarterback has hit draft discourse in Cleveland like the pandemic did the anti-vax talking points. It is just like, all right, bro, we just hearing all kind of shit now, like all kind of shit.
Man, somebody said, I'm gonna look foolish when they take Shedeur Sanders in 2. And it's a shame that you're being so delusional about this, and I was like, okay, we'll see.
Colb, and half the time I'm not even trying to predict what happened at 2. I'm just like, this makes sense.
It's just like, I was like, okay, dog, like, damn, bro, I didn't know it was that serious. You feel what I'm saying?
You would think if it's that serious, the logic would back it up a little bit stronger than it does. And then every time I look into the logic, it boils down to, I want a quarterback. Okay, Jimmy. Like, damn.
Jimmy ain't even say that shit, bro.
And that was Jimmy the only thing where I'm like, it might be like that if Jimmy on that. But Jimmy ain't on that.
Like, come on.
Nothing about Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry's get down tells me that they'd be like super excited about the personality of Shedeur Sanders. I don't know about Cam Ward because he does have that nonchalant quality that Kevin does seem to have sometimes, but it's a different kind of nonchalant than Kevin. Like, Kevin just don't talk. Cam Ward sometimes gives you the impression that he might not give a fuck, right? Like the opposite of Jalen Milroe, who has missed to show up to work early. Okay, like
Yeah, I feel like they're gonna love Jalen. I think they're gonna take Jalen.
Look, they might just take Jalen just so Kevin could be like, all right, man, I like this dude. Because of what they put that poor man through. What we have now confirmed, they put Kevin, because there was never a point where they said Kevin Stefanski suggested this. And Kevin is sitting here like, oh, finally, these motherfuckers understand what I've been through. I won Coach of the Year, and they saddled me with this. And then I did it again, and they brought Davis.
Yeah, man, we go get some professional quarterbacks in here.
No, adult in the room. Get me the dude who show up at 4 a.m. Okay, like
we go get you.
By the way, it was confirmed. Adult in the room was a Jimmy Haslam quote. Like.
Oh,
like
man.
basically the whole Baker Mayfield, Deshaun Watson saga boiled down to Jimmy being tired of Baker.
Basically.
And Jimmy being like, ooh, I kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
It's gotta be amazing to be that rich. Like
it's like, yeah, you could put that one on me and D. Put that one on me and D.
Think about that. That is the mistake he's made. It's been confirmed. He's admitted it. That was the mistake that was made. And like, because he owns the team, it ain't like he gotta go anywhere. Like, he can truly just be like, my bad.
And all we can do is
you can do about it.
All you can do is be like, well, all right.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness, man. Like
at least he said my bad, you know.
Kevin is like, I need sanity.
He said my bad, bro. What more you wanted him to say?
That's the thing. Bad. He did all of that because he said my bad legitimately. And I do mean legitimately. I'm like, that's actually a good thing for the Browns.
He said, you know, everybody fuck up. Everybody fuck up sometimes.
He's like, hey, man, you know. He was just, I bet he was hoping just like the rest of us, just because we was tired of Baker Mayfield fans, that he would crash and burn that second year at Tampa Bay. But when he saw Baker was cooking that second year better than the first, he was like, oh, fuck. Like, I might have made a mistake here, huh? Like, no, it is hilarious how much of this could like straight up be traced back to Jimmy Haslam now. He was like, hey man, tried to replace a swing and miss. What more can I do? Probably not publicly beef with your quarterback. Like,
listen, man, it is what it is.
Oh shit.
It is what it is.
And you can't get him fired or nothing. Like,
ain't shit you could do about it. You just gotta roll. You know, we just gotta roll with it. We just gotta roll with it, man.
And he like, oh yeah, by the way, hope y'all ready to drop 600 mil on this dome that we about to drop. Wow. It truly is a different world for people with that much money, man. Like, think about like if you fucked up in your job that bad, Colb. Think about the questions you gotta ask about what your life gonna be like. Okay.
I'm like, damn, I'm really about to get fired. Like, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, Jimmy sitting here like it don't change nothing about his status quo. Woo. Ooh, at least he admitted it. At least he don't. That's the thing. Owners could be dumber than that, dog. They could just double down and be like, nah, we did what we were supposed to. We still believe in Deshaun Watson. As long as there's time on that contract, he's still our quarterback. We've been fucked. Okay? It would be nothing we could do about it. He could have blamed this on fucking Andrew and fired everybody and built more around Deshaun Watson.
Man. Whew. Crazy.
Crazy. But let's get to these super chats. Then bounce.
Yeah, let's get to these super chats. All right, we'll start with the first one from Iceman the Boss. How is Carter undersized but Shadur isn't? He bulked up to 212 pounds.
Look, man, I don't, the Carter is undersized stuff has always been stupid. He's got longer arms than we thought he did too. He's like 33 inch arms and everything. Like it's just
33, like 33
yeah.
and some points, or they're just straight up 33.
Like 33.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like it's the Abdul stuff is just dumb. To be honest with you, like it's just dumb. If you want to take Travis instead of him, I think that's fair. But I don't know. Hey, Curtis, did we skip Akalons?
No, you were going to get to him. I'm just going because I know you dropped like 3 of them before it started. So
yeah.
All right. So speaking of Akalon, we might as well get to him now. This first one it was legitimately one of the best interviews Jimmy has done. How many aura points do you think he added with this? You got +1 aura points. That's it.
No. Be fair. It's like
no. This significantly changes how you view Jimmy.
Yeah, it's like a solid like +25.
It's like that one interview when Dan gave where he's like, "Yeah, maybe I should shut the fuck up." Like it's like, oh yeah, changed everything after he said that. It was like, nah. Now this is the interview you wait for your owner. Who got the bad owner now? Who's the especially? Is it Tepper?
Yeah, Tepper.
It's either Tepper or Woody Johnson.
You want to know how badly Jets fans would like to hear any indication that those two would shut the fuck up and not make decisions in football ops? In the last 2 months, we got this man saying, no, you can't go around Andrew. And then he said, yeah, my bad. On a situation that was clearly his fault, but still said my bad to it. There are a lot of, we have lived through Jimmy Haslam enough to wish for times like this. No, that's like +6. Takes him into a new tier of ownership.
New tier of ownership.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, usually they're just god awful, but now he's just bad, which I can live with.
Yeah, fair. But the second one is from Akalon again. Can you explain any thoughts you may have on the injuries to Abdul and Travis? Also, any chance we draft a running back at 33? If so, how would you feel? I don't think Travis has any injuries that concern me because the injuries he had were just minor. They weren't like major injuries that worry me at all.
Yeah, he missed all those games the year before because was it the spleen or some shit like that? Like something.
Yeah, he has spleen injury, I think.
Yeah, and that was because of a dirty hit.
Yeah.
You know, he's had issues staying like not available week to week, but available throughout games. Like he'll miss some snaps during games. You expect him to be able to bulk up at the next level just a little bit. I think his athleticism and burst is still going to be there if he's a little bit heavier. But yeah, there's no chronic injury, right? It's not like he has like a back problem, an ankle problem, or anything like that. And with Abdul Carter, I really think people are making a mountain out of a molehill with the pre-draft questions about it, the shoulder that he played through against Notre Dame, and the foot injury that like everybody says is not that big of a deal, that has a legitimate medical opinion about, that people want to make into like this Courtney Brown Achilles injury.
Yeah, like the Abdul Carter injury stuff is not a big deal to me. Like it was just something that popped up and everyone's saying, oh, that's a red flag. He's not working out, doing all this, that, and third. I'm like, all right, okay.
I mean, Mason Graham's not working out either. I don't think people are like, oh, fuck Mason Graham, dog. I drafted him.
Also, to the second part of the question, running back at 33 is way too high.
It depends on
in this class, to me, it's way too high. 67, I'm like, okay. But like
Browns 33 spot though. Because 33, I do agree it's a little high for running back. 67 might be waiting too long. So we'll see. But
it depends on who they want, though. Depends on who they want.
Yeah. Now, are you big on Omarion Hampton?
He might be gone by that time. I don't know.
Yeah, Omarion. Like if they want Omarion, then you might have to do that at 33.
If you draft Jalen Milroe, I can wait on running back.
That too, though. Like if you draft Jalen Milroe 33, you can wait till 90 whatever or 104 to take a running back.
Mm-hmm. Got the next question up.
All right, the next one is from Alkaline. This is his last one. Jimmy being this open while the rest of the organization acts like they're the KGB is hilarious. Reminds me of a quote from the Wire. Are you taking notes on the criminal
Are you
conspiracy?
Are you taking notes on a fucking criminal conspiracy?
Jimmy doesn't give a fuck, bro. Like, they try to keep everything close to the vest, and he's just like, well, let me tell you what we're not gonna do. We're not gonna take a quarterback in 2.
They've been trying to fool people into thinking they're gonna draft somebody in 2, and Jimmy just come out like, yeah, nah. Like he not the dude people worried about making them have to take the quarterback. Like, Jimmy's hilarious.
We ain't forcing the quarterback in 2. We ain't doing that.
I gotta tell y'all about his nicknames for certain people. I told this to JP, and JP died. Like, and that's an off-air conversation. Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, the next one is from Ray Rags. The fact that the rest of the league, every time they were asked, thought the trade was more on Jimmy and that they were absolutely no chance Stefanski and AB will lose their jobs should have said everything anyone needed to know.
No, because people kept saying they were going to get fired, and we were just glazing, and that we didn't know what we were talking about when we said that their jobs weren't in any jeopardy, and all that. Like, it was pretty obvious to everybody when they survived the 3-4. It should have been when they survived the 3-14 season after being 11-6 the year before, that they weren't going to get fired, that their jobs weren't in any jeopardy. I thought that was pretty obvious.
When Myles Garrett's requesting a trade and that's your franchise player, and you're like, I'm only going to let Andrew Berry handle this, and you're potentially on path to lose your franchise player, that is the amount of trust that is not going to be given to somebody who you think is temporary.
I feel like people were trying to force the Browns. They were trying to say, well, they got to do something. They got to blow the whole thing up. I'm like, it's one bad year. I'm not blowing everything up after one bad year. And people were getting mad at Jimmy when he didn't want to intervene with the whole Myles Garrett situation. I'm like, that's a good thing. I don't want my owner getting involved. Just sit back, write the checks, and stay out of my way.
Hey, look, especially this dude, right? Mr. Adult in the room. Like, no, he don't need to be involved. He don't need to be involved. The bag man does not need to be. We would have gave Myles Garrett $400 million guaranteed to Jimmy got involved. And that's why Myles wanted to talk to Jimmy, because he was like, no, I want to run him up. Andrew was like, the price is here. Okay, this is the contract. Do this or retire. He was like, let me see if I can get an extra $200 million out of Jimmy.
All right, the next one is from Soul Train. It's about Jalen Milroe. If he fails at QB, can Milroe be like Taysom Hill? I'm like,
hey man, if they still out there trotting out Justin Fields to play quarterback because he can run, Jalen Milroe's gonna be able to do that.
Or maybe that's why the Steelers are so interested.
They didn't want to pay Justin Fields.
They did want to pay Justin.
I would not discount it. Like, I certainly would not discount them. Like, that's the one team I'm like, they might take them in the first. It would be surprising. Like, I wonder how much they would want to take them in the first. I hope they go Jackson Dart, but I don't think they're going to make that same mistake twice.
Let them. I want them to.
Please do. But I don't think you're gonna make that same mistake twice, because that's basically Kenny Pickett again. But I do wonder, like, if Shador and Jalen are there. Conventional wisdom tells us they would take Shador, but I do wonder if they're like, there's something about that Milroe kid, and they shock everybody and take him before Shador, which would be a surprise, a legitimate surprise.
That would.
But I wouldn't be shocked by it.
All right, next one is from Ray Rags. Why is it so hard for people to see that if nobody wants to trade up for these top 2 picks, and there's still a discussion on who's going to be the pick, that the QBs aren't good?
Because people want to believe that the quarterbacks are good, because they want to feel something, that they want to manufacture a feeling at the quarterback position, right?
They want to feel false hope. They want to have hope, but that hope is just like false hope, honestly.
Yeah, and I think part of it is people just wanting to be like, put a clean close to the Deshaun Watson era and not feel like he's lingering. But again, man, the owner just called it a swing and a miss. It's over.
Swing and a miss is so crazy, dog. Swing and a miss is so crazy.
And then lamenting the draft picks that they gave up to get you. He's still in the building. I bet. Well, I wonder if that was a ploy to get Deshaun Watson to do his rehab somewhere else. Like, we hope you feel uncomfortable. Like, again, it's like trying to fire somebody who got tenure, dog. You got to just do little shit to make them feel uncomfortable. They're gonna move his parking spot, make him park across the street and shit. Like,
I'm telling you, when Jalen Milroe is wearing 4, just understand.
Uh-huh. When they don't get Jalen Milroe a number until very late. They're like, hey, man, you want to get that number up? What about Big 14, Deshaun? How about that? Big 44. Fofo. You can be Fofo, Deshaun.
Big 44. Big 44 is crazy.
Hey, look, if the NFL team wants to get rid of you, they had RG3 out there playing free safety on the practice squad. Okay. Something like that is in tune for Deshaun Watson. Like when you hear Deshaun Watson playing scout team, trying to repair his career, dog, it's gonna get weird. Okay.
Well, he only got to deal with it.
Deshaun at number 12. We gonna see Deshaun at number 12.
Listen, he only got to do it for one more season. And then
Deshaun at number 19. Like, what's this most swagless number we could give him?
Oh man! All right, this is from Ray Rags. Another one. Before I say this, FM, but I wonder what Watson's reaction to hearing Jimmy say that out loud at a press conference.
I'm gonna be real with you, bro. He probably don't give a fuck. Like,
he probably just
no, he gives a fuck. No, he gives a fuck.
You think he cared?
100%. He still think he can come back and beat Deshaun. See, we've given up on Deshaun because we're not Deshaun Watson. We have no reason to really believe he the only dude in the world that has reason to hope for him being Deshaun again. Because the only way he gonna repair his reputation if he's decent at football. This is his only shot to live the life that he once knew. That man cares. He's just not good, right? Like, if that's the thing, he probably don't think he washed. He just think he got a bad run of luck. And he's like, wow, the organization don't got my back. He feels antagonized. And I bet that was the intention. Because again, why the fuck are you doing your rehab here? I don't think enough people have dug into this. Why is he doing his rehab in Cleveland? I feel like that's so he can play this game where Cleveland can't take his money for getting hurt again. Because he's like, I'm doing this rehab in your premises. And Cleveland's like, oh man, we need to get him the fuck out the building. We need to make him feel uncomfortable. And this is where they play them games. Deshaun, you're parking across the street. Yes, your expensive car, uncovered parking. You're just gonna have to leave it there. Like, what about those parking spots? Those aren't yours. Like, they gonna do, you know, that little annoying shit. They gonna make them do bag checks in and out the building.
Those aren't yours.
Those
are not your spots. Actually,
we gave Kenny Pickett your spot. Like, I'm telling you, shit like that's about to go down, dog. They don't want that dude in the building. Like,
oh man. What's the next one, Curtis?
The next one is another one from Ray Rags. Q, I would forever think Bo Pelini only went to YSU to force Nebraska to pay him the most possible from firing because they had to pay the rest of what his salary would have been at Nebraska.
No, it was an all-time petty move. So Bo had a contract in Nebraska when he got fired that Nebraska had to pay the difference between whatever his salary was at his new job and what the Nebraska was paying him for the next 3 years. So he took a job at YSU where he didn't have any salary. Specifically to piss off Nebraska. Yeah, it was a huge fuck you to Nebraska. No doubt about it. That was 100% why. Because once the money ran out, he didn't coach here no more.
Damn.
Like, he went back to LSU. Yeah, he had beef. He is never welcome back in Lincoln.
All right, the next super chat is from Ray Rags again. Kenny Pickett might be ass, but his yards per attempt is right around 6. Not good, but DTR was less than 4. That's effing insane.
DTR was ass, bro. Like 2 packs of ass. That's what DTR was.
Now we just going back to regular ass. You know
yeah, regular ass. We get it.
Kenny Pickett trash. Trash better than 2 packs of ass. Okay,
like we're good. We are absolutely good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, another one is from Ray Rags. I wish I was a fly on the wall in the room when the coaches by themselves and then the team watched the Washington film. I want to watch the difference in the rooms.
Man,
probably just head shaking. And I mean, I've been in those rooms before when the player is making just dumb decisions. A lot of cussing is going on and a lot of head dropping. There's not much to be said. Those are film rooms you do not want to be a part of. I'm just telling you that right now. Especially with an embarrassing performance like that. Like, not much had to be said. Just a bunch of rewinding, asking, what were you doing here? What was your thought process? They played again, then they rewinded again.
Waste your time asking that. Like, all plays where it's like every option was open. It's like, do you even waste your time? Hey, Deshaun, what were you thinking here? Well, the sun got it by. All right, man, get the fuck out of here. Like, you're not going to hear an answer that's not going to piss you off.
Like any answer you give is going to piss them off. So don't say
I haven't stopped thinking about the screenshot since you read the super chat. And I'm just like, bro, there's no explanation for that. There's no explanation you can give. Everybody just looking at you just like there's nothing.
Real question, did they send Jimmy that all 22?
They had to send him the screenshot.
I want your notes, sir.
They had to send him the screenshot. Like, bro, do you see what's going
Jimmy
on?
was like, what, tardation?
Oh, man.
That's one of the worst all 22 performances. There was a Browns game versus Detroit. The defense put together, I think, the worst defensive performance I've ever seen in my life from an all 22 perspective. When they played, it was in Detroit. I think they were playing the Bills. And they gave up like 300 yards rushing to Devin Singletary. And that was like the 30th ranked rush offense that year. That is the worst Browns run all 22 I've ever seen. I put the Nutcracker behind some of that film breakdown. It was so goddamn bad. I called the Welcome to Walmart defense because I was like, the whole defensive line, welcome to Walmart, come on through. Like, just straight on. That was the worst defensive. Offensively, dog, I don't think I'll ever see anything worse than that. And the thing that pissed me off, they could have won the fucking game.
They could have. It is what it is.
They really could have.
They really could have.
I'm like, just take the tablets away at that point. Because what are you going to show him that he's not seeing? That is what I need to hear the audio from Ken Dorsey in the booth. This guy's going to get me fucking fired. I know he said that. He's like, this guy's going to get me fucking fired again.
Oh, man.
Ooh, that's who was hurt the most. I bet Ken Dorsey looked at that shit. It was silent in that room because he just realized I'm getting fired again. Like, dog, what's gonna happen to me?
Listen,
because he's the Deshaun fixer. He knew he was gonna get fired.
but he had to take the job because he had to try to be an offensive coordinator again.
And then, not too long after, Kev said, I'll give you the playbook. He's like, this don't make sense. I'm getting a promotion? Oh, fuck. It's like Casino when they put Joe Pesci in the room. You about to be a made man. Uh-huh. Yeah. Come get this play sheet. Now we're going to start DTR. Pow!
Oh, man.
Okay, Dorsey got set up so bad.
Oh, man.
Oh, shit. Poor Ken Dorsey, man.
What's the next one, Curtis?
All right, this is from Soul Train. People worry about Abdul Carter's health, but forget Miles had health issues early with his foot and ankle, and that turned out to be a good pick.
Dude, people didn't want to draft Miles because of that foot and ankle, and they wanted to take Derek Barnett. Or Mitchell Trubisky. Anybody that ever complains about, the Browns didn't draft Patrick Mahomes, none of you existed in 2017. Nobody was suggesting that the Browns do that in number one.
Yeah, everybody was talking about Mitch. Good old Mitch.
Good old Mitch, Derek Barnett, and then John Gruden, dumbass, was like, we should take Jamal Adams. Because he's a leader. That was the most hilarious thing. And like, Curtis, you've had that man on your team. Do you feel like that supreme leadership is better than having Myles Garrett? The Jordan Jumpman leader?
That Thursday night game Jamal Adams had against the Cowboys, I'm like, yeah, we whiffed on this one.
Y'all ain't even the team that drafted him. John Gruden was really like, man, Miles doesn't have the motor to be a top guy. Give me Jamal Adams. And we still take him seriously.
Jamal Adams is currently unemployed right now, and Myles Garrett just got paid.
Myles
just got paid, so yeah.
And people are like, man, we need to give John Gruden a job again.
No, we don't.
He could do whatever he wants.
As if the overt racism and homophobia in his emails weren't bad enough. Nah, we need the dude who said, give me Jamal Adams over Myles Garrett in our football ops in 2025. Because he thought Myles was lazy. What? By the way, keep Greg Williams out the NFL. He wanted to draft Mitchell Trubisky. Okay? Like, no disrespect. I'm going to need you out the league. Okay? You're doing a fantastic job with DC. I see they beat Birmingham.
Next one, Curtis.
The next one is from Iceman the Boss. Mike Green, Collard Green, the boot man got his clock clean. Carter at two.
Carter at two.
Don't make it harder. If it comes down to Mike Green, choose Carter. Okay.
Oh man. The fact that the Browns were the only team that Abdul Carter follows on Twitter is still funny to me.
That happened?
Yes.
Yeah, it's still
it's still true, by the way.
Hey, we know that I can't wait to see Abdul Carter defend Joe Flacco in them comment sections. Like he was defending Jalen Hurts. Hey, he won a fucking Super Bowl. What y'all talking about? I'm like, that's the kind of dude I need in that room, dog. Hey, the Browns watching Abdul Carter defend Jalen Hurts. He's like, absolutely who we need to defend Jalen Milroe. All right? When he missed a couple throws, Abdul set the offense straight. Okay? Like, Jerry Jeudy start complaining, send Abdul to talk to him. Okay?
Oh man,
dog! Right. Miles gonna defend any quarterback that can consistently get a first down on offense with his life. That's all he wants.
All right, the next two are from Ray Rags. Pelini was paid $3.1 million in his final year in Nebraska. He signed a 4-year contract at Youngstown State for $21,000 for a year. The original total buyout of $7.9 million was reduced to $6.54 million. And the second half was from 2015. Pelini will receive $128,000 a month from Nebraska through February 2019. That's $21,000 less than the $115,000 a month he was owed before Youngstown hired him in December, shortly after his firing.
And one thing I will give Bo, he was at the barbecue joint. Like, I remember I went to Charlie Staples out there after a game. It was like 11, 12 o'clock. Game ended like 2 hours ago. Coach Bo came out there and all the people was like, oh, Coach Bo here, give him that order. They had his order ready. I'm like, Coach Bo, he be at the barbecue shops and not the ones that have sit down, right? The carry out window. Strange man, Bo Pelini was.
What's next, Curtis?
All right. Next one is from MC Curtis 0.06. That's not me. Huge fan of the podcast, guys. Keep killing it. This is for the anime section of the podcast. Cole, have you seen Samurai Champloo?
No,
soundtrack
this is fucking psyop. Get this off the screen.
No, what do you mean? That man paid $10.
This isn't what I mean. Okay.
That man paid $10. Put the super chat back up on the screen, Curtis. He paid $10.
He getting the reaction he wanted. Okay, he paid $10 not to talk to you about Samurai Champloo. No,
you can't even pronounce
Champloo.
This is what you paid for. You can't tell me. This is what you.
Can I answer the question?
No.
Can I answer the question? Yes, I have seen Samurai Champloo. It's one of my 5 favorite animes of all time. And yes, the soundtrack is amazing. It has the best soundtrack of any anime ever. Still to this day.
Samurai Champloo. All right, let's go on.
You can't even pronounce it.
You can't even pronounce it right. You can't even pronounce it right.
Champloo?
Yeah, Champloo. Champloo.
What the fuck is that?
Watch it.
They did that. What kind of no? What? You can't tell me what a Champloo is? Okay. Is that his last name?
No, absolutely
it's
not.
3 people. That's not what the show's about. It's 3 people in a group, but you gotta watch it. But
so Champloo is a name for a group?
No, that's not it. Okay.
Just describe it to me and the questions will be over, Curtis. Okay.
How about this? You watch the show and you'll know.
No. No.
What's the next super chat, Curtis?
Next super chat might be the last one. No, we got 2 more. It's from Zendot. It's the JOK thing more or less a situation where the Browns are waiting on him to be mentally ready at this point. It's been several months now after reports said he walked out of the hospital.
Might be a Greedy Williams thing, right? Where it's like a nerve injury.
I don't think it's that. I don't know if it is. I haven't looked deep into that. It's like it's a neck injury, but Greedy Williams had a shoulder injury. It was like more nerve damage than anything. That's why Cleveland got rid of him. He's in the UFL actually now, but
Birmingham. Not Birmingham. San Antonio.
Yeah, San Antonio Brahmas. But I don't think it's a mental thing. I mean, he's probably just recovering, but at his own pace. We don't know if he's going to be healthy or not.
I imagine it's one of those injuries that doesn't have like we're used to injuries in football that have timelines.
Yeah, it doesn't have a timeline.
He doesn't have a timeline.
It's one of those. It's like, hey, he's going to wake up one day. It's going to make progress, or it's not. You know.
Like neck injuries are very tricky to come back from because if your neck isn't, you have to go through all this testing and stuff. You're not going to get cleared right away. So he has to probably go through a ton of testing and make sure that he's like physically cleared before he gets out there. Who knows how long that'll take? It might take multiple months. It might take a year because he suffered it back in October? Something like that.
That was late in the season. I remember Hope being dead by the time he got hurt. Because I remember
it made it even worse.
He got hurt during this fucking season, which that was the same sentiment when Mike Hall got hurt.
Yeah. Andrew Berry said that it's nebulous, and he said they're going to take it week to week and month to month. What's going on, which lets me know that he probably isn't going to play this year.
I don't think they have any clue of what the time frame is going to be. I think it's just one of those injuries where it's like he's got to take it day by day and see what happens.
Yeah, like when he's healthy, we'll know. Until then, we just wait.
This is what nebulous, vague. I don't think they know what the time frame is. Same thing happened with like Cedric Tillman's concussion, right? Where it's like you expect him to be back, but some concussions linger for like a year or two.
Yeah, when it comes to concussions, that's also kind of tricky. You got to go through a bunch of tests and stuff. Like those tests can take a while. Like
they would love for this injury to be something where he just needs surgery and he'll be back in 12 weeks, right? Like, but this is a more complicated thing where you can't, especially with neck and back stuff, if you don't want to go for surgery, if you can avoid it. And we don't know what JOK's feelings about that are because he seems to, he's a lot more holistic than a lot of dudes in the NFL. So he might be like not trying to do surgery too. So a lot of different things factor into it. We'll see what happens. I think we'll have a clear picture by what? When do you guys start putting dudes on injury lists? Was it July? Start of camp?
I think start of camp, yeah.
I think start of camp.
Yeah, we'll know by then.
Yeah, so this last one is from J Ray. If Cleveland takes Travis Hunter 2, I'm ordering a jersey immediately. Unicorn in the making represents my generation, the new generation. Unicorn and fire emoji.
Listen, man, we are all on board the Travis Hunter train if that is what they decide to do it to.
I wonder how much different the Travis Hunter thing is going to feel once he's separated from like Deion and Shador. Because like much of how people feel about him is like just excess Deion and Shador feelings.
I think he will definitely be beloved once he's drafted to whatever team he's going to get drafted.
Dude, Cleveland would love him so much. A two-way player in Cleveland?
Yeah, they would.
Yeah.
They would.
They going let him let him get hot, make a good defensive play, make a first down play. We were this is the greatest thing we've seen since Peyton Hillis. Be great. By the way, somebody got mad at me that I did Cam Scatterboo to Peyton Hillis. I'm like, that's an insult to Cam Scatterboo to Peyton Hillis.
It really is. He not that. He not that one dimensional.
Like what?
Nah, he not that. Oh.
Like Cam Scatterboo had like 2,000 yards as a rusher in college. Like Peyton Hillis wrote the pine, dog. Like.
Oh, Lance Zierlein also has us trading up with Minnesota to take Shador. Let me tell you something, brother. Maybe they do that, but I doubt
the Browns, we know Shador's there. This card says Milroe team. Like, he must have took a shit on Jimmy's desk, dog.
Let me tell you something. If they're both there, like in the mid-20s, and they still keep going, it would be hilarious. Hilarious if they traded up and took Jalen.
Yeah, this is reminding me of when we found out that Sachi, under no circumstances, was ever going to draft Carson Wentz. Right? like something about Carson Wentz gave everybody in that organization and they were like, we are not doing this. And it became obvious. Feels like something like that's happening right now with Shador. Very interesting way they've chose to handle this. I know some people are like, they're playing 4D chess. They're trying to make sure they fall into the right team. That's just not how any of this works. But,
they're not playing 4D chess at all.
No, they're doing shit, and the NFL reacts very differently to doing the kind of stuff that they like to do, playing the games they like to do. We'll see what happens with them. Now that is a player I feel like would be very annoying to cover, whether he's good or not. Is Shador Sanders. Because God. But Travis, let people understand that man play. Travis Hunter, once Cam Justice get that goddamn camera going in training camp and start recording them footages of him locking down somebody on both sides of the ball, oh yeah, Browns Twitter gonna be like, yeah, my bad, man. I like Travis now.
You know how I go.
They gonna be pulling out signs. It's 12 personnel. All kind of goofy shit. Yeah, we gonna be on it. Don't worry. We will embrace that.
It's 12 personnel sign is just.
When you see the first person put that on the T-shirt, just let them know I want my 5%.
Oh man,
I would not be making that shirt.
Oh man, we good on super chats?
Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah, we good.
You gotta check with Curtis. Curtis be trying to end the super chats.
Yeah, man.
I went through all man.
He be trying to do the expensive ones.
We be messages, and they be like, y'all robbed me of my super chat. I'm like, damn, I ain't know,
My fault. I ain't know what man.
I mean,
somebody said when his cousin's going to be around after the draft.
Tomorrow.
June 1st.
Yeah, about to say after the draft.
I'll go June 1st. The Falcons aren't going to bring him on. the situation I would like to remind folks of with this Kirk Cousins thing. Y'all remember Baker Mayfield?
Yep.
When the Browns had to trade him, and everyone was like, "Oh, they're going to have Baker back up Deshaun. Why not? It makes sense. You would have the best backup in the NFL." All that dumb shit they're saying right now about like Kirk backing up somebody in Atlanta, they're not going to do it. Kirk, I think he just reiterated to Raheem Morris that he's not going to be the backup. He wants
and he talked to the owner too.
Yeah, this dude's not going to be on the team come July. So, they're post June 1st, I think that's when stuff's going to happen. Because also for the Falcons, if they can't get good compensation for him, like the windows are really tight for them. If they want to trade him, to get him to waive his no trade clause, it has to be after day 1 of the draft, but before day 3. So where exactly is Kirk drawing the line on drafting the quarterback, right? Is it just day 1? Top 10 pick? Is this 33 count? I don't think it would, but we'll see with Kirk. Does he waive his no trade clause for that? After that, when it comes to June, that's when they get to spread the money out over 2 years with him. And they could release him, they could trade him. It would just make a lot more sense to move him after June 1st. If they can't get a draft pick this year, then what's the fucking point, right? You might as well wait till June 1st to do anything with him. So yeah, I expect you're gonna have to wait a long time for the Kirk Cousins thing. But clearly, that's where Kirk sees as one of his steps. Because why else was this man confirmed in Avon?
Westlake.
Westlake.
It was Westlake and Avon, right?
I think the Chipotle was in Westlake. I don't know where the other place was. Maybe it wasn't Avon.
I think the barbecue place was in Avon, but either way, like
right next door to each other. He was around. He was around.
Somebody dropped that Kirk Cousins has bought a house in Westlake tweet. But yeah, it seems like he knows he's probably going to play here.
Yeah, so
Get
ready for Kirk.
Get ready for Kirk. Get them shoes with no labels on them. In Cleveland.
Coles.
He got shoes with no logos on them. I was like, what are those?
Hey, man. Who we about to shout out?
Let's shout out Curtis's hoodie curse. What you got on today, Curtis? Who you cursing today?
I'm not cursing anyone. What's wrong with Berleezy?
Oh, is that? Oh, damn, man. You cursing Berleezy?
I'm not cursing Berleezy, man. Stop it. Cut it out.
Damn, man. He an OG YouTuber and streamer. You gonna curse the homie?
Why would I
do the Ants Life sketch?
Stop it.
Man. I have no idea who Berleezy is.
How do you not know who Berleezy is? Like, Cole, he's right in your market.
Who is?
You make anime sketches? Don't you do anime sketches?
No, that's RDC.
I know RDC does anime sketches.
Berleezy does the exposed videos.
Berleezy used to do sketches.
What sketches did he do? I can't remember.
Yeah, he used to do sketches. Yeah, back when I was in college, Berleezy was doing sketches. You know what I mean?
Oh, I don't know. No disrespect to Berleezy.
Yeah, he an OG though. He an OG. He an OG in the black nerd communities.
Okay.
Yeah. You gotta read up on him, Cole. You gotta learn your history.
Learn my history? I don't know.
That far.
I think I'm good. I'm all right.
No, he was in like some RDC World sketches too. This shit done changed. He do like reaction. All right, well, yeah.
Anyway, shout out Berleezy. You know what I'm saying? No
praying that he perseveres through the curse that Curtis has put on him. The Curtis curse.
Hey, listen, man, you killed the Seahawks. It is what it is. Like, destroyed the Seahawks.
They traded DK Metcalf and signed Sam Darnold in like 2 days after you put on that hoodie. I don't know what happened with Hiram, but I assume it's not good if you're not wearing the hoodie anymore.
Hey, you have to do that at the high room, though.
Hey man, you gonna get me in trouble with people from Iron Man? Stop.
Yeah, I mean, you did something. Like, they got Berlizzi on. You know what I mean? I hope the brother perseveres over this. So shout out to the hoodie curse. Shout out to Berlizzi. Who else we shouting out?
Shout out Steel Toe Gang. You know what I'm
Obviously.
saying? All the time, every time. Shout out the Anime Gang. We almost, we making progress on the Naruto rewatch. We're gonna be done soon.
Oh,
You know
you're
what I'm
rewatching
saying?
Naruto?
Yes, I am. Shout out to Filler Guy because I like cut out about 200. I cut out about 300 episodes that I didn't need to watch.
No, watch lists are crucial for shows that produce in bulk because I do that shit with Star Trek, and like without a watch guide, you're not gonna finish it.
Because at first I was like 500 episodes, and I looked, I was like, oh, I only gotta watch like 200 of these. That's not that bad. Who else we shouting out? Shout out to gamers because my girlfriend is playing Assassin's Creed Shadows, and it looks fire. I'm playing Final Fantasy 12, so I'm not playing it right now.
Assassin's Creed Shadow. That's a game that not everybody, but certain people are mad at this month.
Oh, the racists, yes.
Yes, the game of the month for the racists.
They were upset.
It's the racist woke game of the month.
You're telling me there's a black samurai? Since when is there a black samurai? And then all these Japanese people were like, well,
different voice options.
all these Japanese people came out and was like, well, actually, Yasuke was a historical figure, and he actually was a samurai, and he owned land, and all like a whole historical rundown of this man. I was like, oh.
Fucking Assassin's Creed. It is not a historical ledger or a fucking textbook that you're gonna like learn the actual history off of. It is a goddamn premise for a video game.
Yeah, like who cares?
It does not need, even if it was not historically accurate. Who gives a fuck? You are not in class. You are playing a goddamn video game.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Who cares? I don't want my video game to be historically accurate. That don't sound fun. Like, what? That is crazy though. How like people choose to get mad about historically accurate when it's convenient. When it's like it does not matter, bro. Wolfenstein exists. Like they're aliens of Wolfenstein. Like what are you talking about? Let's see what else. Who else we shouting out? Are we shouting out game developers? Shout out game developers, man. Y'all be dealing with some bullshit, dog.
Yeah. Shout out game developers. Somebody asked how far am I? I got to the episode where you find out you get Obito's backstory. Like from his perspective. Not from Kakashi's perspective.
And then let's give a shout out to all our people in hair grooming, barbers, braiders,
twisters.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Anybody with the Cash App and a DM link in their bio. Shout out to you. You know, you doing what you got to. It's April. It's a tough month. You know what I mean?
Service workers, of course. Always shout out to service workers.
Yes. Absolutely.
Uber drivers, Door Dashers, Instacart drivers.
Big shout out Uber drivers, Uber Eats drivers.
Yes, for sure.
They gotten really good. Like, you miss taxis sometimes, but you don't ever miss the food delivery. Like, have you ever thought about it? Like in college, you actually had to call and give the Chinese food place your credit card number if you wanted something delivered.
Yes.
Or you had to have cash if you want a pizza.
Yeah.
Like there are kids out there that don't know that you used to not be able to just get anything you fucking want delivered to you.
Yes, it's
wild.
It's wild.
You used to have two options, like Chinese and pizza. What you want? Like you got the
outside
menu.
of that one, we gotta go get it.
Yeah. And you wasn't trying to take that walk to Chipotle.
Nah, you wasn't.
Wasn't that many Chipotles back then?
Oh, shout out Corey Kenshin, because that's the streamer I know, and he's dope.
And we shout out streamers I know. Shout out Kai Sinat. Shout out Phantom. Okay.
Let's see. Who else we shouting out? Who else we shouting out?
Shout out all my tax preparers. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, shout out all the taxpayers because I gotta finish mine.
y'all be waiting. I get that shit done in February, so I just cried in. You know what I mean? Like,
Nah, I be waiting.
I get my crying out the shortest month of the year. Like, nah, man, get this shit over with.
Oh yeah, shout out everybody in chat. We love y'all. So shout out everybody in chat. Let me shout out everybody who super chatted. So shout out Alkaline, shout out Iceman the Boss, shout out Ray Rags, of course. Shout out Soul
Shout
Train.
out everybody who listens to us with speakers on, because we are an interesting listen out loud.
Yeah, that's
Somebody could walk in wrong context. You don't know what's going on in this pod. But you got balls, okay?
Yeah, because we could go off on a tangent.
We could be talking about anything, dog.
You get real crazy from that point on. Like,
It's
so
not a very
shout out
focused show.
Shout out J Ray, shout out Zendot, shout out MC Curtis 006. I feel like that's Curtis.
That's not me.
Curtis.
I got
That
two
was on
S's
his
in my
phone.
name.
That was just on his phone asking for a shout out. Clap it up for Curtis, y'all.
Clap it up.
Come on, man. Clap it up.
Clap it up for Curtis, man. Super chat. We appreciate you, bro.
That's crazy. You super chat.
I got two S's in my name, dog. Not one.
Like, is
try to
that for
throw it
real?
off the set.
Like, is that not like a social media thing? Like, you got like two S's, like legit at the end of your name?
Yes, like it's legit. I have two S's in my name.
Is it pronounced Curtis, or it's just like Curtis?
It's just Curtis. The other S's, I don't know.
Is there like an explanation behind that?
No, I don't. I
I don't know. They might be cool.
Yeah,
it's kind. I don't know. I really don't.
All right, I ain't gonna make shit that publicly. Don't Jamar got that thing going where he got two R's at Jamar?
yeah, you do.
I just thought that was like an Instagram name or something like that. Like, oh yeah, because we used to do that, put like extra letters and shit at the end. But yeah, shout out to Curtis. Shout out to Curtis with two S's. That's unique. You know, it's a regular name, but you add two S's on it, so now it's like different. That's smart. I'm gonna name my child Quincy with two Y's. They ain't gonna go over the same.
I'm about to say that's not gonna go over the same at all.
But anybody else we got shout outs for?
Man, I think we good.
We good. Shout out Damo, man.
Oh yeah, shout out Domo. Always.
He gets the most play on this show for somebody who don't donate anyways. Like,
Hey man,
don't know her too.
I'm about to say he's super chat. Don't super chat when he be in here.
He ain't no Ray Rags. Shout out to Ray Rags, man. How we not going to shout out Ray Rags? Iceman.
I did shout out Ray Rags. I shout out everybody who super chatted.
Yeah, but that's not. Come on, Ray Rags be dropping like 8 a game. Like, he the score on the team, dog. What you
You say he needed an extra one. He needed an extra one.
Ray Rags pull up to the show. He get a chair. He get a good chair. Okay.
Shout out Ray Rags, man.
Big shout out Ray Rags, man. Iceman. Big shout out Akala. Big shout out. You know what I mean? Our Platinum Plus members. Y'all have. Go ahead. What you about to say?
I was about to say we are not professional enough to have Platinum Plus members.
I feel like it's real unprofessional to have a Platinum Plus. Like, what does anybody have the Platinum Plus and it felt legit? It's
That's
too
true.
many premium names. Like, if somebody tries to sell you the Platinum Plus credit card, you know you get fucked. Okay, like one that was that fucking Ice Cube that was like, I'm about to work with the Republicans on getting the Black American Platinum plan. I was like, we not cooking at all with this. We not cooking at all. The Rush card, did they have a platinum?
I think so.
Yeah. But shout out to y'all, man. In all seriousness, everybody have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.